What is going on, everybody? It is episode 849 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here once again with my returning guest co-host. Introduce yourself, sir.
Oh, I thought I was going to have to cough for a second. It's all good, though. I'm Aiden Mattis. I am Aiden Mattis. I am the host of the Lore Lodge, the Weird Bible, and History Unhinged. All of which are here on YouTube, and Lore Lodge is actually now on Rumble as well, so help us grow that because it's not doing well.
It takes time. It takes time. And joining us, special guest today. Introduce yourself.
Oh my gosh, hello everyone. Lore Lodge sounds so nerdy and horrible.
It is.
I just immediately pictured swords crossing.
There are rifles on the logo.
Phallic anyway.
I had the shirt on yesterday.
They're bayonets. Hi everybody, I am comedian, a new mother, former foot model, Chrissie Mayr. Hello. Great to be back.
Whoa. Slow down.
I've lived a life, okay?
We were just talking about it before the show. I said you would be surprised how many people in this space have lived many lives before they find their way there.
Yes, I wasn't always this mild-mannered podcaster you see before you.
I was not ready for foot model, though.
Look, I mean, I could have been a hand model, but I broke all my fingers too many times. That's the
Caught
when
me
I said
very
earlier.
off guard.
I've only broken one bone. I don't count fingers because fingers break so easily. But
oh my god, I thought you were gonna say you were gonna be a hand model, but you had an accident with a hot iron.
That could happen too.
Which is what happened to George Costanza.
Guys, we got a bunch of stuff to get into. We are very excited to have you here today.
Oh,
It's been like what, a year?
It's been
I have no
maybe
sense of
6
time.
months.
I've got no sense of time.
Because the last time I was on Timcast was last November.
Okay, so that would have been right before we left the studio.
Yeah, it was actually your last show in that space.
It must have been. I think Andy Signor was our last show.
Oh, never mind.
So
Well,
but it was probably like the week before that. So yeah, and since then you hit 100K on YouTube.
Wow, all because of my appearance on your show.
It's all because of us.
I got
guys.
the PCC bump, which is usually referred to as genital warts, but in my case it was, some followers.
I mean, I never counted as genital warts. I don't say that. But if other people do, it wasn't for me. Guys, we've got a bunch of stuff to get into today. But before we get started, hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Perhaps you have come here from Chrissie's audience, and this is your first time watching. You should subscribe to the channel both on YouTube and on Rumble, and you should share the content out with your friends, your family, your loved ones, everybody in your life. If you have a mortal enemy, you should share it with them, too. Then you can fight about it online.
Please do. They can hate watch.
God, I love that. So what are we talking about today? Well, another day, another dose of bad news for Disney. More layoffs coming from Bob Iger.
I thought we were going to talk about my foot modeling career.
We could do that too. We do a whole extra segment on foot modeling. So we're going to talk about Disney layoffs. We are also going to talk about a follow-up story involving actor Jonathan Joss, who was tragically killed on the 1st. It's come out that the man who I guess it's still phrased as allegedly shot him has admitted to this.
It's got to be allegedly until he's convicted.
Exactly. And his husband is now giving interviews to multiple press outlets, which is to me very strange. But we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about all those details, and we're also going to talk about millennial women who they believe that due to their high level of emotional intelligence, they don't need no man.
Oh God.
Literally,
keep telling yourself that, ladies.
That's what they're saying. So, you say that, but then you have to change a car tire and then everything falls apart. So we got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. If you guys are ready, we can just go ahead and get started. Are you guys ready?
Let's do it.
Born ready.
Good. All right. Let's go ahead and get started then. So we do have bad news to discuss with Disney later when it comes to just Disney as a corporation. But when it comes to Marvel, it seems like there might actually be some good news coming for them right now, as it looks like tickets went on sale for Fantastic Four First Steps. And they're saying there have been mass outages and inability to buy tickets from multiple different avenues, meaning Fandango, Regal, AMC are all saying that they crashed the system from ticket sales.
Maybe they just made a terrible system so that it would crash, so that people would think it would be due to people buying tickets.
I 100% believe that. So Grace Randolph said, "Well, fantastic."
I love Grace.
I'm the only person I'm the only person who likes the sound of her voice.
She's delightful.
Yes.
I sometimes do an impression of her on Friday Night Tights, and she's just she's lovable. I always love when she's low key, showing how much she's attracted to somebody, like a certain John Cena or I love her. She's always focusing on diversity.
She is.
Yeah.
She says, well, Fantastic Four tickets are on sale, but all the movie ticket sites are crashing due to demand. This has got to make Marvel happy. Good luck getting your tickets. She does point out that they also crashed for Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. And that made like $63 million in its opening weekend. So it's not indicative of like, why didn't Lilo and Stitch crash the platform if it is that?
Because kids don't know how to open the computer. They don't know the password.
Oh, they're so dumb. No.
They're so dumb. They just mash the keyboard.
Everybody's telling us that we're just giving kids laptops early or tablets too early, but they can't even log on and
the
buy
Asian
tickets
kids can do it.
So, look, I was going to say we should watch this new trailer for the movie. So I think we should, at the very least. They released a new teaser for it today. Ooh. I will ask before, are you going to be watching it? You're going to have to,
yeah,
right? You're going to have to do your homework.
I'm going to have to for FNT. I am not a lore master or whatever you call yourself, Aiden. But I will. I've been told that this movie is looking like shit. I've been told like people are not looking forward to the female Silver Surfer, that it looks like just like a bad, trophy topper.
Well, let's watch the trailer and then we'll see.
Family. It's about connecting to something bigger than yourself. Whatever life throws at us, we'll face it together.
Johnny, now!
As a family.
Fantastic! Hold on! Today, we are your defenders. The four of us will face the danger. And we will protect you.
Is this guy good?
Oh! The clobbering time?
Oh, yeah.
I finally knocked it off the list.
List.
The new spacesuits.
Oh. I take back every single bad thing I've been saying about you. To myself. In private.
Okay.
I felt nothing.
It just doesn't look good.
Yeah, look, I'm one of those people. I get accused on here of anything of like liking everything. They think I'm too lenient.
You're a liker.
I'm a liker. I am. Like most of the time, just going
Feels
to the
like a
theater does a little bit, right? Most of the time,
The hard R.
just going to the theater is
Liker,
enough to
please.
be interesting to me. I did have my problems with Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, despite the fact that I'm Tom Cruise's biggest defender. But in general,
You like Scientology?
Did you do time at Likers Island?
yes, I did.
Oh, God.
The point here being that with this movie, I just don't feel it. It just doesn't land with me in the same way.
No, I don't.
I got more from the Superman trailer than I did from this, and I liked the Superman trailer more than I liked the teaser to Superman.
And people like. More people like Superman because you don't have to know like the lore, the deal with the Fantastic Four, like just about you don't have to be a mega nerd to like know who Superman is and like Superman. It just appeals to a broader audience. Also, like they keep trying to make Pedro Pascal happen. He's not happening. He's like if Pepe Le Pew were a human person. I'm not. I don't feel moistness when I look at him. I don't.
So
I'm not sliding off a chair. I don't know why that he has to be in everything.
I'm never seeing him that like they said that he's got like the like an anxiety disorder. That's why he's always like touching
touch somebody.
I never see him touching anyone other than Vanessa Kirby.
Isn't that funny? You don't see him touching an obese person.
Yeah. What's up with that? I have no idea.
It's a coincidence.
I have panic disorder and I don't need to touch people.
There you go. Fantastic Four is also just on the big screen. Hasn't ever been as successful as I think some people imagine it was. Like the first one was it 2005, and then the sequel was in 2007, and everybody remembers the really really bad Fan 4 stick from 2015 that nobody cared about because they race swapped a bunch of characters, and it was at a really really dark time in those types of movies.
I feel like the 2005 and 2007 ones kind of rode the wave of like Spider-Man.
I mean, I like the 2005 one.
I remember seeing it as a kid, and I was like, oh, this is fun. This is a fun movie.
You were a kid in 2005?
I am
God,
27
I'm old.
years old. I'm 27.
I got to go get my AARP card now.
Yeah, but no, I liked that one.
Yeah,
I didn't really totally get it because I was 7.
Yeah,
but
it's I think that they imagine it as popular as X-Men, but it's not as popular as X-Men.
It just seems like, all right, now it's this franchise's turn at a remake. All right, let's just try this. We've run out of ideas.
They've also Disney spent like millions upon millions of dollars, I guess billions of dollars, to get Fantastic Four and the X-Men back from other companies, right? Because it cost them a fortune to get X-Men back from Fox, and they still haven't really put them to good use other than bringing back Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, which I did enjoy, Deadpool and Wolverine, but that for the most part felt like a 20th Century Fox movie and not a Disney movie.
I enjoyed. They both worked out. I enjoyed the icon,
they
the
both
eye
worked
candy
out.
there.
You just went with headphones on and just watched?
Yes, just headphones and a bucket of popcorn to hide my masturbation.
So there's no dick in a box, but there is something in a popcorn bucket.
There's a box in a box.
Funnily enough,
Snapper in a
that
box.
reminds me. So when you go, you're going to have to use this here. It's the Galactus popcorn bucket.
Oh,
and it's
cute.
actually called a popcorn vessel, which somehow does feel dirtier
is.
than a
It's
popcorn bucket.
It's a
Kinda
popcorn
like it.
vessel.
You
Who
know.
has room for all these popcorn buckets? I guess you could put them on top of like your kitchen counters. Like,
Well,
if you have
no,
room.
it's the people who used to buy Funko Pops, but then nobody buys the Funko Pops anymore.
At least it's not as bad as when they had the sandworm from Dune.
Oh yeah, that was pretty sexual.
That was on purpose.
That
You
was-
can't convince me that, like, you know how hard it is to like get stuff through legal. You're telling me not one intern, not one person's like, sir, that looks like a fleshlight.
Nobody sat down and went, you can't give them the Shai-Hulisi.
They all got away with it because everyone's like, "What's a fleshlight? How would I know?"
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Bob's your uncle. There's a 20 here from Brian Bledsoe. It says Fantastic Four premieres the same weekend of Comic-Con, and they got tickets earlier than San Diego showings were filling up fast. So, look, but they're not doing Hall H. They're not doing any presentations there this year. They're going to have like a booth, and they're going to do their normal panels for like the comic division and stuff like that. But look, I still listen to quite a few YouTube channels that talk comics, or at least tangentially, and they say almost universally that those videos don't do well. Like there is dead interest in the comic industry as a whole. So for the films, also they're going to be holding off because I think last year was when they announced Doctor Doom with Robert Downey Jr. So there's just nothing to announce right now.
And now didn't they keep announcing like it's like this endless list of every celebrity that's in that movie basically.
And it got pushed back like another 6 months, so it's going to take time to come. I think it's going to be a winter. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I think it's going to be a winter release, and it seems like a mistake to release release that particular Marvel movie in the winter.
Right? Isn't that bad for like award time?
Maybe what they're doing is they're just tacitly admitting that kids don't go to these movies, so summer doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like
true.
It just doesn't matter anymore because it's like people my age that are going to these movies, and it's not like if Mary was here, she'd be like, "What?"
Yeah,
like I don't
she's
know
not
who
gonna
Doctor
go.
Doom is. I don't know what Marvel is.
See,
I
that
wouldn't-
would upset me.
Yeah.
Oh.
If that would make me angry.
Yeah.
Also, I don't get why Tony Stark is Doctor Doom.
No, didn't he already did Iron Man?
Yeah,
His
well, that's the
dance
thing.
card
Chris
is
Evans
full.
also already was the guy who I unfortunately referred to as Flamer once before learning his real name. But like Chris Evans was that guy, and then they made him Captain America.
Yep.
That worked. You can't go the other way around. You can't go bigger property to smaller property.
Right.
Also, when that happened, they weren't connected. The Fantastic Four wasn't
Yeah.
part of the MCU, so it
Wow.
wasn't the same thing. All of it should be.
Oh wait, is this Fantastic Four movie part of the MCU?
It's
I
think so.
I hate
yeah.
it. I hate all of it. It makes me angry.
And going forward, now you're going to see all those movies, all those actors going to end up in Avengers.
How?
Oh, great.
How? See, this is what's going to piss me off. Now I have to see the movie to know how this works out.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
Was that the plan?
That's
The plan was to get you specifically to go.
okay. So here's another one here. So
I'm kind of a big deal.
I've got some news that doesn't connect, or that connects to this, but seems to be pushing back on what they were saying. This was from Cosmic Book News. I just saw this here. It's doing the thing where it shows Fantastic Four seats in with the four, and it looks like I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tickets
They
sold.
called the Fantastic Four because that's how many people are
Gonna
going to
show
see
up.
the movie.
So when I checked my local theater, which isn't like a Regal, it's like it's like an Alamo Draft House. It's
I
not,
love the Alamo Draft House.
It's like,
the popcorn is so good.
I don't drink, but I imagine that if I did, I would enjoy being
You
there.
can get
but
a boozy milkshake. You can get a good cheeseburger.
there were some tickets tickets sold for the Thursday showing and like none for the Friday at 10 p.m. and like 1 row for the Friday at 7 p.m. So maybe you're right. Maybe they just have a bad webmaster and like nobody there who knows how to, actually build their website.
Yeah,
they should fix that.
Everything's bad. Everything's in smaller and smaller rooms, so they can be like, "Oh, it's sold out."
Yeah,
we had it in a broom closet and it's sold out.
Well, in the theater we go. It makes sense to the theaters that we go to because they have the chairs that recline, so they can fit less seats in there. Oh, I actually do believe that the best part of a movie is like after I take a 5-minute nap.
Is the nodding off.
and I nod off for like 5 minutes and then I'm like ready to go for the rest of the movie.
What did I miss? And you're really engaged.
I don't get to, I don't ever take naps at home, but that's because nothing's tethering me to a chair in the dark and keeping me there. So I remember I did like when we went and saw like one of the Kenneth Branagh Hercule Poirot movies. I absolutely fell asleep for like 30 minutes. And I had to like tell that because we still reviewed it the next day. I'm like, just for record's sake, I was out for like at least 30 minutes of that, so I might have missed like crucial plot points. We got a 20 here from Pop Culture Junkie. Says, my Disney source says that Marvel is cheaping out on Comic-Con this year because they plan to blow the roof off the joint next year. I'll wait to see it. Yeah, I mean, that at least makes sense to me, especially
just keep waiting, guys. Just keep waiting.
Oh, next year it'll be big.
Eventually it's going to be really good, guys. I promise.
Just hang in there.
Well, we will have to wait and see. But
this is like me
know.
promising my audience a sexy calendar. We keep saying it's going to happen, but I am getting less sexy as the years go on.
It's like eventually you're going to be out of that age range where it's easy to get into that level of shape.
I'm out of that age range. Once maybe it'll come back around when I'm in like my 50s and I got like gray hair and
in your silver fox.
Yeah.
If you're watching this on the replay, guys, let me know down below. Check your local theater and let us know if their tickets are selling out there for you guys as well. I'd like to see if they are. All right, let's move on. This one is going to make everybody groan just a little bit. Short King Spring. That's what people were calling it. Tinder has put an end to Short King Spring by introducing a height preference on Tinder.
Oy. Well, it's going to be Short Prince Summer soon enough.
Hinge had that.
Did they?
Years ago.
Okay. And they got rid of it?
No.
They
still have it, I think. I haven't been on a dating app in 2 years, so, like, I don't know, but I do think this one's a little overblown because, like, Hinge and I think Bumble also both had that already.
So this says, no, because I thought what it was is, like, they introduced them early on, and then women had, like, no idea what percentage of the population was over 6 feet, so they were getting no matches.
See, that's the thing. I think Tinder should
women are delusional. It's women.
It should come with that same app that's, like, tells you what your percentage chance of finding this man is.
That's really smart.
Built into it.
That's
so it's like,
or what percentage of people are on the app, like what their height breakdown is.
I do think this is funny though, because like Hinge, you were able to do like race, religion, height, like everything.
So this is a paid...
not BMI. BMI was never an option.
So that's what everybody's gonna say.
I would want to know, like, are you racist? Like, if you're not racist, I'm not interested. That sort of thing.
It says apparently height is being tested as a paid feature, not as a hard filter.
Tinder
so
premium.
that's even so that it is. It's the capitalists that have made this a real thing. So if you pay $40 for Tinder Premium,
which a chick would, like someone who's really fixated on that 666 dude, like they'll shell out for it.
I genuinely think that's the business plan here, is because men pay for Tinder. Like, women don't pay for Tinder because there's not nearly at the rate that men do.
Wow.
Because if you're a guy and you want to be seen on Tinder, you really don't have a choice. Like, you need to pay.
Really?
Yeah, because it'll bump you up to the front of the line. It'll get
women.
It's like a fast pass.
Yeah, but for women. Women had no reason to pay for Tinder.
Somebody was
now they have a reason to pay for Tinder. They can sift through and make sure everybody's at least 5'9".
Somebody was like driving from one state to another with their fast pass, and they're like, somebody who worked for Tinder, like, that's a fantastic idea. That's great. So it says our new product principle guides every decision, and this one speaks directly to a few. Prioritizing user outcomes. I love when they get into technical speak. Like it means nothing.
Like anyone cares.
It says, moving fast and learning quickly. Not every test becomes a permanent feature, but every test helps us learn how we can deliver smarter and more relevant experiences and push the category forward, said a spokesperson. This is part of a broader effort to help people connect more intentionally on Twitter. or on Twitter.
I think guys should start
Tinder.
lying about their height like in huge amounts. Like just fucking if you're 5'6", just say you're 6'2", and like haha.
Did you ever see that that video went viral a couple years ago where the women put like the height marker on the door, so the guy puts the weight in front of the guy puts the scale in front of it.
Well, no, here's the thing. I think that it should come with a warning too. That it like. I think if you're a woman and on your profile it says you're 5'7", you're allowed to go up to like 6'4". But if you're a woman who's 5'2", Tinder should be like, no, you cannot go any higher. Like you cannot set a preference lower than like 5'8", because that's stupid. Like this man is taller than you in heels. You are being shallow.
If you want to meet this guy, go to a bar.
Yeah.
Like you have to meet this guy in the real world. I do like the probability idea, and it comes with like a snarky voice assistant that tells you like, good match, not so much, keep dreaming, sis.
Yeah. And it even tells you, it's like, you know, if you want this man, you should lose a few pounds. Like,
well, that's it's fair play. They should include a weight. And then, of course, the other thing is, like, you should get penalized if you lie. So it's like Yelp, where then a person who goes on a date with you and you very clearly aren't 100 pounds, he can give you a bad Yelp rating.
Give me a Tinder 5-star system. I want ratings on Tinder.
Well, we get to a point where AI will look through your photos and say, like, you're too fat, or, like, you clearly have 50 pounds to lose.
It doesn't let you put...
Could you imagine if you're on Tinder and you're swiping along and you match with somebody, and it's like Uber, it's got a little 5-star rating, and it's got reviews, like Airbnb.
You're like, here's Dinesh. He has impeccable driving, and he will deliver your food hot.
Yeah, it's like 3 stars. He was tall, but he made me pay for my half of dinner.
3 stars, smelly dick. Yeah, would not recommend.
Look, I never got a bad
2
rating.
stars, uncut.
Daniel J. Corica says Marvel should re-release the Blade trilogy, but update the CGI. I'd watch that in a theater. Thoughts? Happy Wednesday. I am 6'2". Sure you are.
Sure.
Right, 6'2". That's fun. That's like okay. So for me, that actually was the opposite.
In heels.
I've put. I was looking at all my old driver's licenses recently. The eye color is different on every single one.
Wow.
Because my eyes are 2 different colors, so I never like.
Oh my God, they are.
There wasn't like an option for that.
You're
back
like
then.
Sienna Miller.
That's who I like to be compared to.
Wow.
At least she didn't say you're like a dog.
Your eyes are different colors?
Yes.
Am I that colorblind?
Typical man did not notice.
Yes. But the thing is like, so originally I put blue. Neither of my eyes are blue. Then the other one.
This one's brown and this one's hazel.
Yeah. So I put blue on the first one. I put brown on the second one. I put hazel on the third one. And then my new one, unfortunately, it's called dichromatic. It's just dick. DIC.
Non-binary.
Now I don't want that on my thing anymore. But the point
you have
is,
dick eyes.
the point is that they were different the whole time, and all my licenses say 5'5". I got when I was at the hospital earlier this year, 5'7". Without shoes.
Wow.
And I took the time to make a post about it. I was like, I'm still way too short. But,
you're fine.
The point being that I never, at the very least, any person that I ever met or any date that I might have gone on when I was younger, before I got engaged, my fiance knew how tall I was. They always knew that I was 5'5", but I was actually underselling it. That's what you need to do, gentlemen. Undersell it.
I have historically fallen somewhere between 5'8" and 5'9". I use
Depending
the Army.
on the day.
The Army said I'm 5'9". That's what I'm going with.
So, like, also then it's just a matter of posture. Do you have really good posture? There's an actor named Scott Conn. He's James Caan's son. He's got the greatest posture I've ever seen in my entire life. He stands like this the whole time because he's kind of short. So as an actor, he's kind of like pumping himself up.
And you got to hang upside down for hours a day. Get the lifts.
Here was some. Go ahead.
My parents told me about they've been seeing this chiropractor in New Jersey who apparently works miracles, and I'm looking to go see him because I am fully expecting that when he decompresses my spine, I'll be 5'10".
He'll pop an inch out for
you.
you.
I'm not kidding when I say I have the tightest spinal column of anybody on the planet.
You should put that in.
It hurts
humble
all the time.
brag.
You should put that in your profile.
It hurts constantly.
Women love a tight
I'm in
spine.
pain right now.
Is that what your girlfriend?
Yeah, you thought Luigi had it bad?
People had thoughts. This person on Twitter said not to side with the men here. I like how they have to preface it. Like if they have a feminist audience, they're like, "Hey, don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah,
but she
stop
says
doing that.
She says not to side with the men here, but why do women 5'3" and under have such strong preferences for men 6 feet and over? You are a hobbit. 5'8" is tall enough.
You're so damn small in the world, and you just feel like you're constantly about to get trampled. So you need. I understand why women go for like a greedy amount of heights because they feel so small and they need help doing things.
It says you can't even tell when your 5'8" boyfriend is lying about being 6 feet because you're so short.
Yeah. My girlfriend is like 5'4", 5'5", and I still look at her and I'm like, oh, you're so little. Like, you're such a little girl.
Have you ever seen that meme where it's like me and my husband were arguing and he took a picture and then showed it to me to show why he doesn't take me seriously, and she's like looking up at him really mad.
Oh, I do that every time Amanda cries about something silly. Like, this is something
funny.
we've worked out. Like, she'll, like, the dog will do something, like knock something over, and she'll start crying about it because she's feeling a little fragile that day, and I just take a picture of her from my perspective,
of her head.
and she starts laughing.
There you go.
That's great.
It fixes it every time.
Always good to show them their place every once in a while.
I don't do it when she's crying about something legitimate. Like, if her grandmother died, I would
You
not do
should
that.
do the same thing.
That would be horrible.
That's a fantastic social experiment. Like, do it when the dog like stubs its paw, and then also do it when her grandma dies. See what happens.
It's horrible.
Battle Beagle says, "Is there a weight filter for men?" This person says, "Men have preferences, and so do women. Some men prefer tall women. Some women prefer short men. Who
prefers
cares?"
tall women?
I said that's who the real loser is on
Wendigoon?
this. This is who the real loser is in this. It's not.
No, I got mercilessly mocked in a hot tub for an hour and a half by Wendigoon and
Sounds
Aiden
gay.
Thornbury.
Sounds erotic.
It was a little bit because I did not like women taller than me, and they made me feel so small for it.
They're like, "Oh,
No,
you're a bad
that's-
person.
you're
Yeah.
normal.
You have no
they were just both
self-esteem."
like, "Why don't you like your Amazons? Like, what's wrong with you? Are you afraid to climb?"
I'm sure the phrase "muscle mommy" was used at least a few
You don't want a
times.
jungle gym for a girlfriend?
Yeah, no. I did go on a few dates with a girl who was like 4'11" and autistic. That was interesting.
That's a double whammy.
How did that go?
Well, it turned out she was actually seeing me while having a fiance.
Oh,
Wow.
I was the mistress. Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, sorry, I'm autistic. I didn't realize I was cheating."
Yeah, she ended things because she she didn't text me for a few weeks, and I was confused. And then I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And she was like, "Sorry, this is a hard thing to explain, but like I just found out I'm pregnant by my fiance," and I was like,
Lot to unpack
"It's
there.
like, hold on a
How
minute."
do you know it's not me?
I was like, "I've dropped you off at your house."
Wow.
So not only is she cheating, she's lazy.
It was-
Right.
Yeah.
She's not even trying to hide it.
It was a time. Yeah.
Well, you're lucky that you dodged a bullet there.
I did.
This one says, "This isn't really a big deal. As a short man, if a woman doesn't find you attractive because of your height, then why would you want to be with her anyways?" That's a fair point.
True.
But I also think that it's not just short men who suffer, it's tall women.
Yeah.
Oh, tall women
Like,
they have it hard.
are really suffering in
Like,
silence.
Two
you
of my
could either
friends
be in the WNBA, be gay, or nothing.
Or fixed ceiling fans.
Yeah,
you go.
I have a friend who is 6'5". His wife is 5'11" or 6 foot, and we just are constantly like, "You guys are gonna produce offensive linemen. Like, you guys are gonna
Well, no, they're
the
gonna
entire Eagles front
It's going to
five.
be basketball players.
No, they're white.
Oh, well, I mean,
okay.
that doesn't necessarily
It-
preclude.
They're white
Maybe
Irish
a Larry
people.
Bird.
How many white Irish basketball players
Okay.
are there?
Okay. I don't know where Larry Bird is from. So. All right, so let's go ahead. I think that both sides of the spectrum will end up suffering on this, but I mean, maybe just get people off the dating apps in general.
Only we could pair the tall women with the short men.
There's got to be something to be done. You do that. Be good.
It'll never happen though.
All right. What would you guys like to see? Cringe or cute of the day first? Chrissy, you can choose today.
Cute of the day.
Cute first?
Oh, that
Okay.
was a mistake.
We usually people
Whoa, we like you.
choose cute second so they get the cringe out of the way, and then you see the cute.
Yesterday it was a
Let's do that.
werewolf daddy.
It's worse today.
Oh.
It's worse today. Oh, my fiance sent me all the cringes. So if you're mad, you can take it up with her. Yesterday was a werewolf daddy.
Oh god.
To jedno w głowie mam, koksu 5 gram, odlecieć sam w krainę zapomnienia. W głowie myśli mam, kiedy skończy się ten stan, gdy już nie będę sam, bo wiedzie biały węgorz. Tylko
All right,
the top comment.
Noah, hear me out. Hear me out. Would.
The top comment says, "All right, I might have gone too deep today." Yeah, it's like that. It's like when you see like that's enough internet for one day. You know, I've reached the end of the internet. Yeah.
I want to know more about this person's backstory. Like,
what
do
they
do for work?
What do they? You know, that's. I mean, maybe he milks cows for a living.
Maybe he gets.
I want him away from the livestock.
Maybe he knows Glenn Greenwald. I don't know. I am going to show this. I showed this to Aiden earlier. I want you to hear the great soda conspiracy of 2025.
What the hell happened to Snoop Dogg?
That's a good question. Here we go.
I guess you want to call it a theory, but it lines up with everything. So even with Mountain Dew, every time, and that's the thing, not every flavor correlates with every event, but it seems to be like every time they make a big push with a certain flavor, it correlates with a certain event. So they had a flavor back in 2001 called Code Red. 3 months later, 9/11 happens. That's a Code Red. Maui Burst. That's a flavor. 3 months later, guess what happens?
Fires in Maui.
Fires in Maui.
What was the flavor
Francis
called?
Scott Key Bridge.
Maui Burst?
Okay.
Maui Burst?
Why did they have a flavor that released last year called Star Spangled Splash? Now, who wrote the Star Spangled Banner? Francis Scott Key. So every time something happens, these flavors that they push out, and sometimes they're new flavors or they re-release them. They even had a flavor called Pitch Black, and I told people to watch for it. Then the IT thing
Everything shut down.
that shut down. One big blackout.
I love how they're like, they'll sense a pattern, and they won't even ask how could this possibly be connected. What way could this all work together? They're just like, they see it and it must be a thing.
They released a new flavor called Sperm Count, and every time you drink a Mountain Dew, your sperm count goes down.
Mountain Dew, the Nostradamus of natural tragedy and pain.
I can't wait for the flat Earth flavor to come out.
They can't do that because they don't want flat soda because nobody drinks flat soda. So I think the flat earthers
the soda's in a
safe.
firmament.
They're safe.
If they put out a flat Earth themed soda, I'm burning something to the ground.
I'll buy it.
All right, let's palate cleanse, guys. Cue to the day. This one's from Cervantes, from Isaac. Says, Tennessee Brown, Cinder, not Brown. Unfortunately, my best bud, 10, died this Monday. I've never felt worse in my life. Thanks, I hate it. Goodbye, 10. I'll see you later. Why? So one of the things that people tend to do is they eulogize on here, and it always kind of brings the vibe down. But thank you so much for sending it in. I'm sorry for your loss. Losing a pet is hard.
Which one died? The one with the stained eyeball grease, or the one with the droopy face?
The top one. Here.
Oh, the droopy dog.
I'm not gonna handle it well when my dogs go. We have a husky and we have an esky, so the esky is 2 years older. They'll
What's
probably
an esky?
American Eskimo Spitz.
Crisis party!
Holy shit, that scared me. I thought it was literally like demon.
That's okay. That's okay. See, this is what I told Tim he should do this on IRL for one episode. Just randomly have
My heart
crisis
is
parties.
beating so fast.
It's okay. Next time you have to dance through the pain.
I literally thought, what's that thing that the Christians talk about where everyone's sucked up into the sky?
That's
the rapture?
The rapture was happening. Oh, hello.
Yeah,
what a petable head.
They're very cute dogs.
Have you seen that video that went viral? That's like, you think you a husky? Where the dog wants to go out in the snow, and he's not. There's like a black guy owner, and the dog's like, "You think you a husky? You want to go in the snow?" Can we pull it up? It's so good.
Somebody have to find it and send it to me.
It's so good. Yeah. You think you a husky? If you just Google that, it'll come up.
One of my favorites is the husky with the Italian accent that like the mom is talking to, and he just goes bo bo bo.
Aw, and it goes with his hands.
Yeah. Hold on.
And then if you even put into his Twitter search, "You think you a husky dog?" It'll come up, and the dog like jumps out into the snow, and then it's like, oh hell no, and then it jumps back. It's so cute.
All of these are like, so you think you want a husky, so it's not actually coming up. If somebody finds it, send me the link, and we'll watch it later on the show. If you find it, send it on X. All right, let's go ahead and get started then, guys. We got a bunch of stuff to get into today still, so it does look like there may be good news for Disney when it comes to Fantastic Four, but there is bad news on the horizon with what's going on with Bob Iger, as Disney has cut several hundred more jobs amongst several divisions: TV, marketing, publicity, and casting. I want to show another video from producer Patrick. He's this guy that I follow on Instagram. He does a lot of great videos condensing down information. So let's watch this quick and then we'll get into it.
news, Disney just laid off hundreds of workers, again. And the message is clear, the old Hollywood is fading fast. Hi, it's producer Patrick bringing you the latest in the ever-evolving film and TV industry. Deadline reports that Disney has cut several hundred jobs across its film, TV, marketing, publicity, casting, development, all hit. And this isn't a one-off. It's the latest wave in years-long purge that has gutted legacy divisions as Disney doubles down on streaming and parks. Since Bob Iger's return in late 2022, over 7,000 jobs have been eliminated. ABC News, Freeform, National Geographic, all downsized. And this is all because linear TV is in freefall, and streaming, for the first time, is barely profitable. Even as Disney Plus posts gains and the parks deliver, the studio system that built this empire is shrinking. One insider told Reuters these layoffs are about shifting resources to growth areas, which translates to, if it doesn't stream or sell tickets to theme parks, it's on the chopping block. And Disney's not alone, but it's the bellwether. And if the mouse is tightening its belt, well, the rest of Hollywood better brace for impact.
Yeah, so it
Why
seems...
does he talk like that?
I don't know.
I don't like the way
sounds more
I don't like the way
serious.
he talks.
I like the way he talks.
He's trying to get your attention.
I don't know. It just bugs
The
me.
information is accurate, though. So downsizing literally everything but parks and ESPN, like the stuff that they know sell, year round.
So probably a lot of DEI.
And even
jobs.
the parks. Look, there are plenty of YouTubers that cover the parks and the absolute chaos that's going on at the parks.
Oh, different kind of chaos.
Yes.
Okay.
Different kind of chaos. They had
I just cover it when people go missing.
Bob Iger had the goal of getting rid of 7,000 jobs when he came back to Disney in 2020. In 2023, they wanted to save $7.5 billion in savings, and of course, the same thing was kind of done with David Zaslav over at Warner Brothers, who's cutting movies, killing them before they even go into production, and taking the tax write-off on everything, and making everybody
Supergirl, right?
And making everybody mad in the process. Well, not just that, it was the Looney Tunes stuff, and it was Batgirl. That was the one that got canceled, and everybody was upset about that. I like it because he kind of has his own thing going on, where he's kind of like the Trump of Hollywood, where he inspires this irrational hatred from people, which I get even if I don't necessarily like a person, I find somebody who can anger people that much fascinating.
They're doing something.
Yeah. He's doing something. And this was actually done after a better than expected Q2 earnings report, and that they said that their direct to consumer, so streaming, has gone from 289 million to 336 million. But again, if you watch channels like Valiant Renegade, you understand that it's all shifting money from one column.
Yeah.
It's all
to
funny
appease
money.
The shareholders.
Yeah, I don't really. I think once companies get this big, I don't know if I buy anything that really gets said about how things are done.
Yeah.
Right? You understand that, we read that statement earlier from the Tinder lady, and it just sounds like corporate speak.
Yeah.
And I think the reason that is because there isn't usually a whole lot of good stuff to say, so if they couch it in a bunch of really, really vague language.
Yeah.
But
shrouded in jargon.
But it's
charts.
the type of thing where if you're paying attention, anybody paying attention knows that Disney isn't doing as well as they used to. Now, they have had more wins than the previous couple of years. Mufasa ended up being a bigger success than they expected it to. Lilo and Stitch has been very successful. Inside Out 2 has been very successful. But the problem is a couple of big wins at the movie theater a year isn't the same thing as having a streaming service which is extremely profitable, which if you want to do that, you have Netflix, and that's about it. And Netflix is the only one that really seems to dominate that space.
Well,
and they're just spending too much.
Even Netflix, though, I don't get what's going on with streaming, where they keep greenlighting show after show after show, killing them after 2 seasons. Most of them aren't that good, and then rather than focusing on the stuff that does do well and putting the money there, they just kind of shove that stuff to the side. Stranger Things season 4 came out when?
Amount of content matters more than quality of content.
But that's why they're bleeding money, is because they're putting out bad stuff.
The idea is, though, okay, so if 100, if you make a new season of Stranger Things and it's really, really good, or Wednesday is a good example of that as well, because Wednesday was really, really popular, by virtue of how long it takes to make a season of television and what the general narrow audience for that is, you're probably better off throwing crap at the wall and seeing what hits, because they're just not gonna keep how many, I think they have 300 million million subscribers. Well, 300 million people don't watch Wednesday.
Right.
And 300 million people don't necessarily watch Stranger Things.
They're just trying to cast a really wide net.
Yeah. And Netflix is, to their credit, the one that's always at the top of the streaming charts. They have the top 6 or 7 shows all the time.
Wow.
But like I said yesterday, like HBO will have their Last of Us, which is there for a couple of weeks and then is gone. Paramount will have their Taylor Sheridan show, which is there for a couple of weeks and then it's gone. The thing that I hate, honestly, and I'll get to your super chat here in a second, Pop Culture Junkie, is like I miss when they dumped everything at once.
Yeah.
You can binge it.
Yeah, like I don't like. I understand why they do it. Like the reason I loved the first season of Reacher was because they put all eight episodes up at once, and I could watch them all at one time. Now they do like 2 episodes, and then you have to wait a week for
to do a Reacher around.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
It's like that's their own fault. For doing it. But to be fair, Jack Reacher isn't much better. Kind of has the same ring to it. There was a 20 here from Pop Culture Junkie says, I wear a t-shirt that says, I retired from local TV before it started to suck. The recent Disney layoffs just amplify my sentiment.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's giving like, I bought my Tesla before Elon Musk became a supervillain vibes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like maybe just own it, man.
Yeah.
Like, but then you're starting to sound like a union ideologue, like somebody who's like really into their local union.
Right.
I don't know how I feel about
That's
that
not
either.
fun
Is there anything that you've seen that's new that's really interested you?
mean,
You were
like,
saying
in terms of like shows and
Yeah.
movies and stuff. Okay. I know I'm late getting on this train, but The Chosen is so good.
I'm
And I think season 5 is
have
coming
not
out
seen
soon. It is so good, and it's it's obviously not like a comedy, but it's so interesting to see like the life of Jesus and how he interacted with his disciples and like how the miracles were performed and things like that, and just like how the lead actor, I think his name is Jonathan Rumi.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to hear like his process, like how he actually did have a hard time trying to play Jesus. And
Was I misinformed when I was told it was made by Mormons?
no, Angel Studios I think produced the first maybe 3
I don't know
seasons.
what the I think they license it now, right?
I think so.
I don't know the history of the show. I know it's very
they
popular, and it's on
Mormons?
like every streaming service.
It's so good.
It's on like every streaming service. I got through like 6 episodes and then I kind of fell off, but I was actually it was more interesting to me as somebody who's not religious because it just feels like you're watching a television show.
It makes it like very accessible to people. It's not like you would think, oh, this is intimidating if you're not like a religious person, but it's very accessible.
A lot of really good actors in that show, and Jonathan Rumi does do a really good job of portraying a certain. Again, as somebody who's not hasn't read the Bible, like there's a gentleness to the character that's very, very well done,
almost Christ-like.
It's subtle and it's done in a way where it's not over the top. But we are getting Passion of the Christ too.
Ooh, I haven't even seen one yet. What am I waiting for?
Family Guy predicted this years ago that there was going to be a Passion of the Christ 2 and that it was going to be ridiculous, but genuinely, what is it going to be?
The resurrection. That's just what I've heard.
Cool.
That's not a particularly long period of time to make a movie about, but all right.
I mean, you can make a movie about a couple of days.
It could take them
I guess,
forever to push the stone back.
Yeah, they're just really weak, and they're like,
we need more men.
Is Jim Caviezel coming back to play? Okay.
That's going to be the most interesting part because it's been like 20 years, and he's like 20 years older now. So they're going to have to de-age him, I'm sure.
Like, I was in there a long time. Look how fucking old I am.
Hey. We do not slander Jim Caviezel here because he was in Person of Interest, and Person of Interest is my favorite show of all time. So we do not slander Jim Caviezel.
Also, Righteous Gemstones, hilarious, great. I think they just came out with the 3rd season. So funny. Danny McRitchie. Who else is in it? John Goodman.
I will always take John Goodman, though. Again, as we were saying before the show, he got thin, and it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if Chris Farley was still around when Ozempic came out, and then we had to have thin Chris Farley.
I think he would take it.
I would hope he wouldn't.
No.
I would hope
because
he
the fats really don't like it when one of their own goes thin.
They don't like
the fats need somebody fatter than them to idolize and sort of fawn
You see what
over.
they did to Lizzo and to Adele?
Adele
wasn't even like super fat. She was just like
plush,
yeah.
You know. And then Rebel Wilson, where has she been?
Actually, she's got married.
See, she's crushing it at life. All you had to do was lose the LBs, ladies.
She married a woman. So.
Realistically,
well,
most people should probably try to be a bit skinnier than they are.
True.
Like I'm actively trying to lose like 20 pounds.
Samesies, except for 35 pounds. Because I thought I would lose all this weight breastfeeding. I was like, you're gonna lose weight breastfeeding, and it's a year later. I'm like, how many people do I have to breastfeed at this point? Because it's not coming off.
Be very careful what questions you ask on the internet.
You guys want shots?
You are going to have multiple people offering.
I could give you some in a shot glass right now.
We got a $20 super chat here from No One. Says Disney is gayer than AIDS. That's rude. How about the Zelda movie where Princess Zelda could be played by a man? And what's the deal with airline food? Cheers, Chrissy.
I do think it's really stupid that they're suggesting that, who is it?
Hunter Schafer.
Yeah, no.
The trans actor. Yeah. I think somebody's right. Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh, yeah. She's very wide-eyed and...
That's a thing. Like we did a segment about that at one point about
we did a Sugma.
A Sugma. There's an epidemic of like wide eyes, and it's perfect because my eyes are very close together. So for me,
can't really tell.
It's very noticeable. People in the chat like to give me crap for how close together my eyes are.
The chat always likes to nitpick your appearance.
I love them no matter what, even if they have so much conflicting emotion inside about themselves that they have to take it out on me. You know, I still love them. So, look, Disney is struggling right now. The layoffs are indicative of a much larger trend throughout Hollywood. They're not even filming in Los Angeles much at all anymore. I was just watching these videos where this guy went around to all the empty sound stages. There's just because it's too expensive. Gavin Newsom has made it too much of a cumbersome production to actually film in California. So they move stuff overseas. So they can get the tax breaks.
It's cheaper to film.
Yep. So
what about Atlanta? How's Atlanta doing?
Atlanta's another popular one. Vancouver. Chicago does like all of the Dick Wolf police procedural and cop and fire shows are produced there. I know you want to make a Dick Wolf joke right now.
I'll use some restraint.
There you go.
Well, I mean, I could see the wolf from yesterday using some restraints.
There you go. You didn't see this, but be glad you didn't. Your life would have been changed forever. Point being that it's kind of like watching a slow motion car wreck where a lot of people on the inside of the industry that don't want the people who are criticizing it to be right are kind of either having the wool pull over their eyes or they're just not admitting what they're seeing.
Pulled over their eyes.
It's even worse.
That's scratchier.
That's bad stuff happens. You end up in a Law and Order SVU episode when that comes out. All right. So, R.I.P. Hollywood. Hopefully they figure it out.
You had a nice run.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for the years of propaganda. We appreciate it. All right. Let's move on. We got more to talk about. This is a more serious topic. So we're going to follow up to what happened yesterday when we discussed the death of actor Jonathan Joss, who was, of course, he was killed by a neighbor. And there was statements made by the police and by his partner about whether or not this was a hate crime. But more information has come out. If you don't know, you should watch the video from yesterday. There was a picture being painted of somebody who was just living a life of turmoil. Some people posited that it was drugs. Other people say that it was mental illness. Look, I can't speak to any of that. I don't know this gentleman's history. But given everything that was discussed with his neighbors and with colleagues and everything like that, it didn't paint the most stable of lives. So we've got follow-ups now that the gentleman who is as of now accused but has not been convicted.
Maybe gentleman isn't the right word.
Person, human being,
the guy.
Okay,
Ungentleman.
the guy. His name is Sigfredo Alvarez Ceja, and he was arrested blocks from the murder after the argument that they had, and he admitted to the cops, or reportedly admitted to the cops right then, I shot him, and that a rifle was used, and that they got
a rifle.
That's the part that has me a little confused. Like, what?
Who shoots a person with a rifle?
Yeah.
Who? Because they said he raised a gun from his the other
his lap.
Yeah, the husband here said that he raised a gun from his lap,
which means he was sitting.
I mean, a minimum length on a rifle barrel is 16 inches.
The woman who drove Jonathan and his husband to the to the house where he was going to get his mail, parked and waited, and then the guy who shot him pulled in behind that person and then got out and they started arguing. So it wasn't while sitting. And then she saw the argument from the rearview mirror, and that he told Joss that he had a gun. So he actually told the guy that he had a gun.
Wow.
Or he told Joss that he had a gun. The rifle was the only weapon in the police report, but then an officer also said weapons were seized, so there's incongruities there. So
sounds like I don't know, like a little bit of an interpersonal dispute rather than like random
that's what most
shooting.
of it feels like, is like, turmoil in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe someone gave someone monkeypox.
I don't think that that's what happened here. So it says now here's the thing. Those were the facts that I was able to glean, which is that the person was arrested a couple of blocks away, that he admitted to shooting him, and then that a rifle was used. This was taken in, and then the argument was seen from the rearview mirror. But then now there has been an interview given by Joss's partner who is talking about how it's painted in this way as if it was like purely a homophobic attack.
Right, like they were standing there. And they were like grieving their dog, I guess, who had died, and they found the dog's skull. Like, but why would it be there, just kicking around? Like, why would they have buried it?
So the house burned down, and the dogs died when the house burned down. It's been very confusing because some of the sources are saying that like the dog's skull was displayed, whereas others say they found it in the rubble. Yeah. Which I do. I mean, this is what I do for a living.
Those paint very different pictures.
How would you go searching? Like, why would someone go searching for that? And how could you find it?
Well, this is what I do for a living is I go through and I read old news reports about missing persons cases and conspiracy and things like that. So a lot of the time there are those little incongruous details that are just the result of people taking a statement and never actually doing any analysis later on because there's no time with journalism.
There have been dozens of police calls there. I think they said over 40 police calls there to that block. But
it's not a good neighborhood.
Jonathan Joss's husband has given an interview to The Independent. That was also something to me that was like, I can't imagine giving an interview that soon after something that horrific happening. But says everything was really close range. It was in the head, she told The Independent the moment after the actor was fatally shot. While I'm holding him, the suspect had a gun pointed over me, and he's laughing and says, "Oh, you love him?" and then used a Spanish slur for a gay person.
Yeah, I gotta say, the husband's stories have been really inconsistent so far. I'm more interested in what the person who drove him there that day has to say than what the husband had to say.
Yeah.
Because the husband is like, he raised a gun from his lap. He raised a rifle from his lap. A rifle is heavy. It takes a second. If you're one-handed it takes a second to aim.
I imagine having like a rifle rack in the back of a truck.
Yeah, but from your lap, that suggests you're talking about a handgun. And then it sounded like he raised it from his lap. Well, how did he do that if he was standing outside of the car?
You don't say a lap if you're standing.
Yeah. So was he standing or was he in the car? It sounds like, based on what the woman said, that they were outside of the car at this point. At which point, he can't raise a rifle from his lap. He's standing.
Right.
The husband claims that he cackled and spewed a gay slur moments before shooting. Suspect then held a gun over the husband as the husband held Joss and said, then I what
does that mean, though? Held a gun over him?
Like, I guess, pointed it at them?
Yeah, but why the phrasing is so weird.
And then, of course, like, this all paints a picture of, like, a homophobic attack, but the police are saying that that's not what happened. But then the husband is, like pushing back and saying that the police department ignored everything that they had ever reported their neighbors for. Says they ignored us, refused to file police reports for 2 years. Now they are trying to say it wasn't a hate crime. So the husband is painting it as, Tristan is the name, is painting it as the police aren't doing their jobs.
Like, I could see it being a hate crime. At the same time, I'm not seeing a ton of like hard evidence that it is.
Also, is this a little bit like a Jussie Smollett? It's just, I don't know. It seems a little similar.
Well, no, this attack actually happened.
I know it happened, but I don't know. I'm just like sus of the details.
So police were called. So then it says one of the pair's neighbors who asked that their name not be shared due to fear of retaliation said that Joss was difficult to live by. He's been a nightmare, the neighbor said. The husband acknowledged that his husband had a tendency to be loud. Me and Jonathan would be out there late at night playing the drums, singing, being a nuisance. If you're going to make it hard for us to live here, you ain't gonna get no sleep. So it sounds like the most awful like neighborhood. Like if you've lived in any type of suburb, like where like neighbors hate each other, or any type in the city where people don't get along.
What city is this?
This is in San Antonio.
There's another weird thing about this report that I'm seeing, by the way. Earlier in the article, it says that the female drove the actor from Austin, Texas to a home with another passenger, and it's an unidentified passenger. And then later in the article, we get that Tristan Karen de Gonzalez claimed he was with Joss, but it sounds like there has not yet been confirmation that he was actually there.
I took that to mean that the unidentified person was the husband, but I don't know whether that's
the thing. Is like, is it that the police report hasn't identified who the other passenger was?
Yeah.
And why then would the police report not identify who the? I understand not identifying the woman, but the spouse.
Yeah. In June of 2024, Seha told the police that Joss approached his house with a crossbow and hurled racial slurs at him. According to a separate police report, Joss confirmed to the police that he walked over to Sehas's house, talk about their dogs fighting with each other, according to the report. So back and forth repeatedly between
this
them.
is sounding more like a dispute between neighbors that got out of hand.
Some of the super chats have some interesting opinions on what happened.
Well, we'll get to it afterwards. We'll end up talking about it. Look, I don't know. I just think that it's kind of insane how much has developed in just a couple of days. And really, more than anything, I just find it to be tragic. Like, it's just tragic.
Really sad.
It also, it's like, I feel like we're in this culture now where because this happened at the start of Pride Month, it took on a narrative right away. Now, it could have been that. For all I know, the guy might have yelled those slurs at him. I don't know. I don't want to take anyone's word for it because I'm just not going to. Like I said, outside of like there being a miraculously placed Ring camera from a neighbor, I don't know if we're ever going to know. The woman who drive them might be the most reliable, unbiased source to tell you what happened.
I want to know her account of it.
Yeah. I mean, at least they have a suspect.
Well, that's what I'm curious about is like how publicized will the trial here be?
I don't think this one will rate that way, sadly. Like, I don't. I think that this one took on a certain undercurrent because of the day that it happened on, but because and this is a sad truth, that because the guy's just not a very famous actor, we all know that, celebrity deaths are treated very differently from, when, like, people die in disputes with their neighbors every day. Like, I'm sure, like this type of stuff, maybe not this extreme, but incidents happens every day and people die at the hands of people in their neighborhood all the time. But this one got the public's attention because it was related to a celebrity, but he's not the type of celebrity where a year from now people are going to be thinking about it. At least I don't think so.
It's true. My dad was shot like a year and a half ago, and they still haven't arrested anybody. So
did he live?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was in the head, and it was like.
Where
you just dropped that very casually.
I haven't processed it yet, which is why I talk about it in a numb way.
Over the past 36 hours, local residents have recounted tales of Joss having been alternately really sweet, then at times wandering around the street ranting and raving. One called Joss erratic and claimed that he told people that he was God. Another neighbor shared a video with local CBS affiliates purportedly showing Joss walking back and forth with a pitchfork screaming. The SAPD said that it responded to more than 40 calls involving Joss in 2024, ranging from welfare checks, mental health checks, and dust-ups with neighbors. However, according to the husband who married Joss this past Valentine's Day, the actor may have been loud, but he was never violent. It says, quote, "I don't care if me and my husband were walking around with one pitchfork in our hand and another pitchfork up our ass. We didn't point weapons at anybody. When the man rolled up with a gun, we were checking our mail. He said he found it really sad how people treat other people when they're having a mental health crisis or going through trauma, and that no one wants to consider what led to that point. It's okay.
I want to know why Joss wasn't institutionalized by his husband.
Yesterday. Yeah.
Right, if it was so bad.
Like, I genuinely don't understand. Like, was it that they couldn't afford it? This guy has famous actor friends. He's clearly struggling.
Yeah, Chris Pratt was like the first person
You're
to
telling me
offer...
Nick Offerman, Chris Pratt, Amy Poehler, all of these people on Parks and Rec couldn't put together a couple $1,000 to go send him to an inpatient facility so that they can figure out what's going on?
I mean, that's the type of thing that sadly, like, unless there's press, like, oftentimes it's not until something bad happens that he would have to...
40 calls in a year is something bad.
I mean, but that's not going to make the news. They're not going to see that. He would have to reach out to them and ask for help.
But that's the thing, is the husband could have reached out and asked for help.
I mean, does the husband have Chris Pratt's phone number?
He's got Joss's phone.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know if necessarily that means that he had Joss's.
I mean, I'm not saying it's the husband's fault. I'm just saying stuff like this, like we need to have a system that deals with mental health in this country that isn't just BetterHelp. Like,
right. Yeah.
The two coped using humor and, quote, always found something at the end of the day to laugh about. As the husband explained, as he now prepares his husband's funeral, people have inquired about his plans for the body, whether Joss wanted to be buried or cremated. Quote, I don't take joy in quoting Jonathan, which is actually paraphrasing a line from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He used to love to tell people, when I die, I don't care what you do with me. Cut me up and make soup out of me. I don't care. It makes me laugh now because I know Jonathan's laughing too.
That's the right attitude.
So it's just a crazy story. But the sad thing is I don't think it's going to rate in the same way that the death of a major celebrity was. And that's a statement on our culture, I suppose, and the disposability of news and all that. But I do think that there's way more to this story than what has been out now. But I do think it's
no one's gonna care in
they're
2
not
weeks.
And plus, like I said, the guy already admitted it, and I'm sure that his lawyer, or whatever lawyer he ends up with, is looking to suppress that confession right now because he didn't have a lawyer and whatnot.
Wow.
So I don't know whether that'll work, but it's going to be interesting. It might be something worth at least following up and continuing to follow. But like, if you want perspective in the realm of like even like the space like this, channels just won't cover it if it's not
not splashy enough.
It's not splashy enough.
What
Like,
voice did he do?
he was John Redcorn.
Wow, which one was he?
The Native American guy.
Oh.
So it's just
Single
it's
tear.
sad. So all right. Well, now that we're done with the sad stuff, we can move on. Actually, I don't know. This story might actually still be kind of sad. So I want to get your perspective on this, Chrissy, perhaps more than anybody, because this is a video where a woman is telling you that women, because they are more emotionally intelligent than men, that they just don't need men anymore.
What a
So
cope.
let's find out whether this person's right or not.
Just got back from dinner with my girlfriends. We're all like late 30s women living in San Diego, like very successful, jobs on our own.
Humble
like,
brag
most
much?
of us have master's degrees, and we're all single. And a big part of our conversation tonight was like, what does that mean? Like, what does the future hold? And I think that we've tried, we've all dated, and it just doesn't seem like there's men who are there to date right now. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's some sort of
San Diego?
like millennial crisis. Like, I really don't know what the issue is, but it's just like we're all financially independent and we're looking for something beyond that. Like, yeah, you can bring money, like, yeah, but do you have emotional intelligence? And that's like what a huge part of our conversation was tonight, is that our standards have just gotten so high. And if there are guys who don't meet that, like, I think that we've gotten to the conclusion that we're fine with that and we're fine with being on our own.
Okay.
Women have been sold such a lie, and like I'm the same age as these women, so it's like we were told our whole like high school and college years that the most important thing is a career and an advanced degree, so you can be a professional, whatever, so that you can take care of yourself. Like, it's the propaganda that we received for 15 years leads you to this woman right here. So on one hand, it's like not exactly her fault, but on the other, it's like, oh, we've been trying. It's like, no. You have a master's degree, which means you haven't been trying. Like, you really should have been orienting your time instead of getting a big, impressive job.
Hold on.
Jesus Christ.
Whew. You love it. It's okay. See, if she had been pregnant when we were on the show, we could get in trouble.
It would have induced this could induce labor, this sort of thing. That's the kind of thing that will make a woman's water break.
It's like, that's like the plan. She's like,
however many years these women spend pursuing these advanced degrees is like, unfortunately, you should have been like pursuing finding a husband. You know, that should be your number one priority instead of like getting these big jobs, but women have been told that like you need to be able to take care of yourself. You need to be prepared for the worst case scenario, which is no man. You need to be able to like pay for all your shit on your own, instead of like what women should have been told, which is like, no, you can find a man that loves you, that won't leave you, that will contribute, you know, that will take care of you, that has your back if you have kids. But just a whole generation of women have been raised to like essentially not trust men and act as if they will be on their own and they need to take care of it all themselves.
I just want to know what she means by men aren't emotionally intelligent.
I don't like what is the actual definition of like emotional intelligence?
I think what she means is like they're not able to find men like on their level in terms of like maybe intelligence. Like
the ability,
I also wonder if the issue is that those men are already married.
Yeah.
The ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in a positive way to relieve stress, communicate effectively, and diffuse conflict.
For them,
so the opposite of what being a guy is.
For them, like the good ones are taken. I think what she's trying to say is like there's not the men they're probably dating right now are men that are like probably too young for them, like men just starting out, like I don't know, 26 and younger, that aren't like established and serious enough for them. Or they're probably, what they should be doing is dating like divorced dads or single dads. Like they should be getting the good guys as they come around the bend again after their first divorce.
It says emotional intelligence is the ability to manage both your own emotions and understand the emotions of the people around you. So they're saying that men don't have any empathy.
No, because they're pursuing F-boys that they're probably just looking for men based on looks and like superficial qualities instead of like checking out their local church.
I'm always told that women don't care about looks the way that men do. That's something
These
that I'm
women
told all the
do,
time.
because when you make six figures, you want like the 666 guy. You think you want the guy that is like a 10 in all categories instead of just finding a guy that has the same values as you.
Also, when I was 15, I was at summer camp, and there was a cute girl at summer camp who I wanted to talk to, and it turned out she had never kissed a boy, and one of the other girls was like, you should go tell her you want to kiss her. And I was like, that seems kind of abrupt and bold. And she was like, no, you're cute, it's okay. And that changed a lot of my outlook on life, because it might not be quite as aggressive as men like pursuing women based on attractiveness, but for women, the way it works apparently is that like the men that approach you are going to filter out how you perceive their behavior based on their looks. So an attractive man, a 10 out of 10 can walk up and say just about anything.
True.
And obviously I'm exaggerating a little bit, but
it goes
a guy who's a
smoother.
6, he could walk up and say something that
like,
might be nice.
Funny.
Yeah.
Might be nice. It might be something complimentary, but a woman might perceive it as like, ew, get away from me, because they're not high up enough.
You just have to find your strengths as like a man, like whatever that is.
Also, these are millennials.
For men, it's about establishing yourself and having something going on besides just existing. Unfortunately, you're never. It's a meme because of the comedy bit, but it is kind of true that you're never going to be loved unconditionally the way that women are, and that a big part of it is what you provide. Now, not necessarily just financially, but also like if you have a good job, if you have hobbies that you excel at, and of course, even then you're going to hear them say the right hobbies, because if you build the best Lego set ever, it doesn't necessarily.
If you're really into Warhammer 40K,
it's not going to necessarily attract the ladies, right?
Yeah. This does not apply to my friend Steven, who is a huge nerd and has a hot wife.
There you go.
Well, there you go. He must have a big piece.
I unfortunately am aware of the answer to that question.
No.
Wow.
Through the grapevine.
I am learning so much today.
What I was going to say though about this,
or you like having girl talk with his wife, and she
no,
shared that
but
with
my
you?
girlfriend is friends with his wife. My girlfriend is friends with his wife, and she is not proud of things.
Okay.
Anyway, point is, I wanted to say about this: the youngest millennials are 28, 29. Like when she says we're millennials, these girls are on average in their mid 30s.
Yeah,
like early to mid 30s. The men their age and the men who are
taken.
That's the thing, and a lot of women like to date older men, which means that
they're all married to women in their 20s.
The men she wants are taken.
Yeah.
Because, and I don't know her story, but if she has a master's degree, if she's making a lot of money, she probably didn't spend her 20s seriously dating. She
Right.
probably spent it trying to get ahead in her career, getting ahead in
Right.
school. So the men that she wants that are her age,
She's got to go older.
yeah, they're already married. The men that are older are already married. She's got to go younger, and those men aren't going to have the
Or
resources.
way older.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting when you bring up like independence. Like that term when we were younger was sold in such an amorphous, innocuous way where it was just like it was sold by like women in Hollywood and music as like independent woman, think Beyonce. But like what does that actually mean? Like
That you have daddy issues and trust issues, and you're not making you're literally not relying on your feminine qualities, like making yourself vulnerable, which is attractive to a man. Instead, you're taught to like guard yourself up, and you're like, shit, I better be able to take care of myself financially because I cannot rely on a man because.
And it comes out as
all the
snark
examples.
a lot
Yeah.
of the time. Like it doesn't come out in the most self-assured way. It comes out in a snarky way, which is really, really like.
Because there's a lot of resentment.
Yeah.
That women have to like work a 40+ hour week and be expected to do all the house stuff and all the mom stuff.
Did Beyonce had a song about independent women, right?
Mm-hmm.
Single ladies.
Okay, you got to go with Beyonce of old. Bills, bills, bills.
Yes.
You know, where she's asked, you know, can you pay
Can
my
you
bills?
pay my bills, my telephone bills.
The telephone bill. Not the cell phone bill. Not the internet
The
bill.
landline.
Like now they should remake it. And it's just all streaming services
Yes.
that they list
are
off.
you paying for my fax machine?
My Hulu.
Yeah. Also, there's something I saw a few people say in the chat that I think is important here. Like, women don't know what they want a lot of the time. They're like, I want a sensitive man who is emotionally intelligent and tells me about his feelings. And then you express your feelings to a woman,
And they're like,
and
"That's
she runs away.
disgusting," yeah.
Like I let myself get upset in front of a girlfriend once before my current one, and she broke up with me the next day.
The thing is, you can express that
That's
with your wife, not your girlfriend. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
unless you've been dating for a long time. But you don't want to come out the gate with
Yeah,
that.
no. Like, my girlfriend now, we've lived together for almost 2 years. I am very comfortable being, open with her about my feelings, but
He watches Nicholas Sparks movies and cries.
Oh.
they want that up until they get that person, and then
Well, it's
they
gotta be a
realize that guy
balance.
is kind of a crybaby.
It's got to be a balance. Like, if you can express your sensitivity as a man, but you better have
Yeah.
on the counter to that, like,
Yeah,
some very masculine qualities.
She's like, you can do that, but then afterwards you need to hang a flat screen
You
TV
need
for
to
me.
chop
Yeah.
a tree in the
You need
back, shirtless.
Yeah, you need to balance it out. You can cry, but only if you go and hunt dinner.
There you go.
So here are the 5 qualities of the 5 characteristics of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation.
Not farting is what that means.
Yes, motivation, empathy, and social skills. What's interesting is like I don't think of like self-regulation in the
I think
same
that
way.
means doing your own laundry, knowing when to change your sheets.
It's like you don't just have the same pillowcase from when you were 15, do you?
No.
You don't have the brown pillowcase?
Oh God! You got to throw away that old flat pillow.
And in these types of videos, also, the other thing is like these types of videos were never meant to be seen by everyone. This is the type of thing
Yeah.
that women would usually kind of share with their friends in
to feel
private.
better about their
Because women like to
situation.
commiserate
Yeah.
with each other about their problems.
Oh, it's not our fault. It's the men's fault.
It's one of
Yeah,
the reasons
I have
why.
absolutely no sympathy. You posted it on the internet.
Well, I'm saying this more as like it says something larger about like the gender war. Like a big part of why everyone is so mad at each other is because they're sharing stuff that used to be shared within your small community with everyone, and
Yeah.
you don't have the same personal relationship with that person that another person would, that offsets the message itself because you can kind of glean the type of person they are. So you don't
Right.
take it as a blanket statement. You take it as something said by somebody who's experienced things in their lives that you empathize with. Oddly enough, it's a lack of somebody's ability to empathize with you why messages like this are taken wrong. And it's not because they don't have empathy. It's because they have no personal relationship
Also, it's
with you.
easier to share memes, send memes, than to have a conversation.
Speaking of sharing, people are oversharing in the chat right now.
About their size.
Yeah, somebody wants
down
to be
there.
spit on. Somebody likes to be choked. It's a whole
Oh.
thing. I did experience a girl telling me she wanted me to spit in her mouth once, and it made me feel very conflicted.
I mean, and then make loogie sounds and see how excited she is about that.
Yeah.
It's like they all say they want it until I do it.
Yeah, until I have a cold.
which he literally is not, like, literally before the show he's just been unwell, and I'm just bro.
I've been such a big boy right now,
Yeah.
not
You've been
coughing
really
and sneezing all
holding
over
it
the place.
back.
Yeah, I'm doing such a good
for
job.
you.
Like he's
I'm
not
really proud.
making the sounds of death that
I mean, the microphone is green, but
Well, there was one time that I was down here that I actively like was recovering from pneumonia. Because I did not, silly thing.
that's how it used to be before COVID. People would work sick all the time. It wasn't a thing.
I did not know. I thought pneumonia was a specific disease, like a bacterial thing. I didn't realize that
syphilis.
you can get multiple things can turn into pneumonia. So I had
Oh.
pneumonia for about a month.
Wow, then
Yeah.
there's walking pneumonia, sitting pneumonia.
It was certainly
standing
walking pneumonia, I'll tell you that. And then I went hiking a week after I got better.
Hiking pneumonia.
Yeah, my lungs have only recently started to feel recovered.
Oh, wow.
At some point here, I was just very under the weather for like a week, and Mary's like, "Are you okay?" And like Olivia got COVID. I'm like, technically, I didn't get tested, so
I don't have it.
I don't have anything because
Yeah.
she got it from me. But like I can't. I don't like missing work.
Yeah.
I don't like missing work. It's
That's
it's an uncomfortable.
I
Like,
can't miss work.
also, like being sick, like when you're younger, like depending on how bad your habits are, it like primes your respiratory system for when you're older.
I like when I'm sick, I spend most of the time just like telling myself I'm not sick.
Yeah.
Like I think it's all like I'm just gonna decide not to be sick.
If you get up and start moving,
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't wallow in it.
See, the Gen Zers are like, that's not true. You need to take self-care.
They're too lazy.
No, what is self-care?
Ugh, Gen Z, I can't with them.
What about Gen Alpha?
They're
there's
babies.
hope.
They're
There's-
literal
there's
children.
hope for Gen Alpha. Gen Alpha, they're like a lot of basically middle schoolers right now.
Yeah, they're not babies. Gen like Beta is gonna be are the babies.
I think my baby is Gen Alpha. Well,
I think yours is a Generation Beta.
oh,
that's tough. There's no way they're gonna. There's no way they're going with betas.
I think the hope is that
Generation Bravo. They'll
my
go with.
guess is that like that term just won't be irrelevant anymore by the time they're of an age where they can be made fun of for it.
They won't be. They won't
Plus,
be.
Well, also, can we
other
stop
kids
giving
are-
like these are such lame names? Gen Z, Gen
Yeah.
A, like.
Think of something better.
Gen Beta starts 2025.
Aha.
Oh, wow.
All right, so the bean is an alpha.
Yep. He's an alpha.
And he's also born year of the dragon. Ooh.
So, you know, it's going to get also like if you're in school and you're getting made fun of by another kid for being from Generation Beta, it's a Generation Beta that's making fun of you. So
right, it's a beta on beta crime.
It's only going to be a problem if it's like a millennial making fun of them. Then you're like, why are you a millennial picking on this child?
I'm gonna be a 50-year-old dude playing Xbox, calling people 25 years younger than me betas, and I'm gonna enjoy it so much.
And they're not going to know what you're
They're
talking
not.
about.
They're gonna be like,
whatever
what is this old man saying?
Whatever old man.
Let me go back to my hologram.
And be like, I just pwned you, noob, and they're gonna be like, what are these words?
That's exactly what's going to happen. Yeah, I think that also asking for emotional intelligence from men is very, very different when you're talking to someone you've never met or making a blanket statement, as opposed to if you're in a relationship and you've got a husband or a wife, you can point to examples of emotional intelligence. That doesn't mean they're always going to get it right.
Yeah,
Nobody's perfect.
I don't think she means what she's saying. I think it's like you just didn't find the right person and that person didn't get you. So that to you, that feels like they're lacking emotional intelligence. But it's like that's just a bad pick. You weren't a match.
Yep. Sucks to suck.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we've dunked on the ladies enough.
I just think we need like a matchmaking service. I think that's what we
They
need.
have those,
Yeah, but like a bigger one that you can do from your phone.
like Tinder.
Yeah, but not you don't get to
Like
choose.
a person.
Yeah, like a person.
You mean arranged marriages?
Yeah,
need to come back.
there needs to be a person sitting at a computer screen with like spreadsheets that are nice
Videos
and
of
pretty.
people.
That's like, all right, none of you are rational enough to make your own decisions
Yeah.
on either side of the sex line.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take these like,
It's like
5'9"
appointing the special counsel.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, hey, this guy
Yeah.
is a 5'9" accountant who makes good money. He's decently in shape, and then we have this woman over here who her friends tell her she's a 9, but realistically she's a 6.
I think I would be great at that job if
Yeah.
I didn't do whatever this is. I would like to do that.
Like that could be a job where it would have to be a woman who tells women that what their real score is. Like, you're not a 9, you're a...
Yeah, but you can't be like Kevin Samuels harsh.
No. Well, also, like I said earlier, so I told this story yesterday about what was it? Alex Clark had a tweet about saying that most fights could be overcome in relationships if men would just pay attention to their women's cycle.
I saw that.
And I said that's advice that a guy might take if it comes from another guy who's been married for 20 years, who sees the benefit of this. But if a guy gets that advice from a woman, he's going to say you're just trying to dodge responsibility for your own emotional intelligence.
Yeah, no, listen to what your married male friends say. If you're a guy, what your guy friends who have been married for a few years now and it's clearly not going off the rails, like listen to what they say, they're probably right.
That's the people to take advice from, not other single people.
All right. Well, and it's always single people that are giving the advice too, paradoxically, in a lot of ways. All right, let's do these super chats then, ladies and gentlemen. High Voltage 75 says, "Put a girl up." Oh, you did. Welcome back, Chrissie.
Hello.
We usually do put a girl on, but now there actually is a girl, so
hello.
That works.
Are we already going to super chats?
Yeah, we're going to super chats.
Oh my God, there must be a lot of them.
No, it's. I mean, if we end early, then people can send more super chats.
That's true. You got a good point. Or they can ask for feet pics.
I suppose if they want to do that, they can absolutely do that. I'm gonna go and pull up the chat here now too. Get this over. All right. Shane H. Wilder says, "Happy Wednesday, Brett, Aiden, and Chrissie. The posters for the other two with no gongo movies are out. Brett makes a great Clint Eastwood.
Yeah,
the posters are great.
Chrissie, had you heard about the femigenocide in the Congo?
What? No.
I hadn't either, and I still don't know what it is.
Femo-genocide?
Yeah, the femigenocide in the Congo.
The Congo?
No, the Congo.
The Congo.
The Congo.
It's a different
That's where Mary is right now.
Is that near the clit?
I haven't been there, so I can't say. In the chat, what did I just see here? James Higgins says, "Brett is just slow." Wouldn't I be too fast if we were already at the super chats? Doesn't make any sense. Unless he's talking about something else, in which case talk amongst yourselves. The Manic Mustache says, "R.I.P. Sausage Party Crisis." Hi, pretty lady.
Sausage Crisis.
Sounds like a movie. Nick Rogue says, "Love Chrissie Mayr. Got to get D-Day Cobra and Nerdrotic on next."
They are great. And they can nerd out with you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get Nerdrotic onto History Unhinged. That was a recommendation.
Yeah. If Gary is ever on IRL, like you're gonna be tonight, like that could be something that we could make happen. Otherwise, it's usually just a scheduling issue.
Yeah.
More than anything. Not that John Stewart says spoilers. So if you're, still watching, spoilers. The Fantastic Four ship is in the post-credit scene of Thunderbolts. New Avengers coming out of a giant sky hole. That's how it ties in. I really hated that they named it New Avengers.
Your mom's got a giant sky hole.
Boom! Got him. Never to recover. Brian Bledsoe says, "If the person you're with falls asleep at a movie, is it rude to wake them up?" No, it's not.
Depends on the movie.
No.
Like if it's a really bad movie, then it might be it might be
depends on
nice
the
thing
circumstances. Like
Amanda fell asleep during Oppenheimer, and I think that's because
at what point?
I'm not entirely sure, but here's the thing: we did Barbenheimer in that order. So we went to see Barbie first.
You should have done Barbie.
I was very against this.
That's terrible.
I wanted to go see Oppenheimer first, then Boozy Brunch, then Barbie.
Yeah.
No, they decided Barbie, Boozy Brunch,
No,
Oppenheimer.
you don't
Terrible
end
idea.
with Oppenheimer.
Bad plan.
Literally, even men with no emotional intelligence understand that is a stupid
You have
idea.
to front load the day with the biggest
I
thing.
walked in and I was
Always
like,
get the
those
hard thing
Japs are
over
going to
with
get
first.
That's what she said.
it. Like,
Okay, that is a horrible idea.
bad plan. I agree with you. I was overruled.
All right. Potatoes for Seamus says, "Aiden keeps Catholic mommy goddesses in his basement."
I think it says Celtic.
They say Catholic? Celtic.
Yeah. You know what? I wish.
The Manic Mustache says, "Only place I ever lied about my height was on my driver's license. Been told I look taller than 5'6". The wife's just south of 6 feet.
Ooh.
So at least baby
Tree climber.
So at least baby Mustache will have a chance at new heights.
A little bit of a mountain goat here.
Stay toxic, my friends.
Goat.
Yeah, call him Tarzan.
Pete Donovan says, with Pride Month essentially dead, what will Lockheed Raytheon do with all of those unused tactical glitter bombs? Have Aiden and Chrissie even seen Cities by Diana's video? I wish I had that saved. Yeah, you gotta... I have no idea how I would be... Like, that's one of the hard things about great things on social media is, like, once you've seen it, if you don't save it, it's gone forever.
Right, right.
I think we should hit China with the glitter bombs.
I'm like literally gonna see if I can if it would.
They'd be very confused.
Yeah.
Could you imagine you're just some random Chinese guy like working in a factory, like and just like there's a massive explosion
I might
and
have
glitter
found
just floats down.
I might have found it on the first try. I'm gonna click on it and see if it works. But let's go ahead and check this out here.
Although I don't know, glitter might be too heavy.
No, it is.
Buildings down.
Here we go.
It's Pride Month, cucks. Do you know what that means? Here at Lockheed Raytheon, we are locked and loaded to serve cunt in every color of the rainbow. Whether it's our classic Leather Daddy surface-to-air missile systems, lipstick lesbian F-69 fighter jets, or our new Stonewall drones, operated entirely by a staff of bisexual non-binary pilots from our secret underground bunker in the Castro district of San Francisco, the good gays over at Lockheed Raytheon have you covered from head to toe with the fiercest arms in all of NATO. Our clients will rest assured knowing that their homes were destroyed by ethically sourced, non-GMO munitions, each with their own uniquely assigned set of neo-pronouns. But before we can bring rainbow freedom to underserved communities far away, it all starts with a dream. This is Sock. They're our Portland-based Vice President of Research and Development.
Thank you, Jojo. At Lockheed Raytheon, every June, we are proud to show off what real American progress looks like. That's why I'm excited to announce our new laser-guided tactical glitter bombs. Before hitting their target, they play an eclectic selection of queer hits like Born This Way by Lady Gaga and Girls Like Girls by Haley Kiyoko, unleashing a storm of rainbow fury on any unsuspecting terrorist. At Lockheed Raytheon, our products put the flame in Slay Queen, but you have to act fast because these deals are only available during the month of June. Don't miss out.
It's
You have to, if you're not following...
Lockheed Raytheon, more like Lockjaw Gaytheon, am I right?
Hey.
If you're not following Cities by Diana on Instagram, you should. She's very clearly a leftist and makes videos about like urban planning.
Oh wow.
It's fantastic. She is the funniest thing on Instagram. She would hate me, I'm sure, but that doesn't stop me from loving her content.
And what's her name?
Cities by Diana.
Cities by Diana.
I wonder if she's made any, like, she's kind of branched out her content, but I want to see if maybe there's anything.
You were getting very close to saying something bad there.
No, I was going to say conduct.
Yeah, she really branched out.
She started using a different voice. Like, she uses, like, the AI voice for it, and she started using a different one, and it kind of ruined it for me.
If you have the ability to speak English and you use AI instead, I think that... Lazy.
No,
well, I can't say what I think should happen to you.
It's part of her... It's part of her, like, style.
You're really big on voices. Like, sound is important to you.
Yeah, I'm a little autistic like that.
Let me see if I can find one, if there's any that would be... Maybe this one. Day in the life of a Eugene yuppie.
Day in the life of a Eugene yuppie. It's been 10 years since you became a professor of underwater basket weaving at the University of Oregon, and you finally traded in your beat-up Subaru for a brand new Audi. You can't wait to show it to Randy, the guy who's pumped your gas since your days as a rowdy youth roaming the mean streets of the Big E. You arrive at the station only to find that as a way to cut costs, they've replaced Randy with an AI chatbot and made every pump self-serve. You've never done this before. It's terrifying. You pace around your Audi looking for where you put the spout thing in the tank, but no luck. You insert your debit card and yell out, "How do I operate gas pump?" And it replies, "Please see cashier." Devastated, you realize you need Randy and are on a mission to find out where he went. You frantically search every Dutch Brothers parking lot in town until you run into your ex-wife Marcola. She just finished her shift and reminds you that the court ordered you give her half your weed stash as part of the divorce settlement. You tell her you don't have time for petty arguments and ask her where the hell Randy went. She says his best friend Sock from her polycule up in Portland pulled some strings and got him a job at the paper mill off of 42nd Street out in Springfield. You're pissed. How come you weren't invited to join the polycule? Never mind. Time to find Randy and make this crazy new world make sense again. You drive to the paper mill and see him commanding some strange contraption and a crew of men working around the clock to press freshly chopped timber into ready-to-roll sheets worthy of burning Oregon's finest herbs. Randy, I just got this new car and I need help filling up the gas tank. Please, bro. He tells you times have changed and AI has taken everyone's job. Gas is dying, dude. But paper is forever. Besides, we're from the Big E. We can do anything. You know what they say. If you ain't in LA, NYC, Eugene, or Chicago, where the fuck you at?
Oh yeah, Eugene.
Eugene?
That's
What's
not
Eugene?
even the funny. It's Oregon.
We
The-
have shirts. We have shirts in Phoenixville that say like Paris, Milan, New York,
That's
Phoenixville. Yeah.
So funny.
That's not even like the stuff that I like. She would talk about specific roadways and tie it into stories like this.
Oh, wow.
And,
That's
and
great.
she'd pull everything from Google
But
Maps.
people love local stuff. There's on Instagram like a Long Island several dedicated Long Island accounts, and I love them.
Here's one day in the life of a California Republican. We'll try one more. I'm used to her making fun of like the liberals, which is funny because she's a liberal. But let's see what she
Liberal?
does. She's a liberal.
How do you say liberal?
Liberal.
Liberal.
He also says tour.
He says liberal weirdly,
Tor.
I do have a friend who used to say.
Why is Tor Network TOR?
I had a
then?
friend who
Day
used
in
to
the
say
life of a
assault rifle, and I was like, "That's not how you
Assault?
say that."
Look, I'm from Minnesota. It's basically
Oh,
handicap.
that explains it.
Soda.
I don't say pop though.
How do you feel about Tim Waltz? Is he Daddy
is-
Goals?
Isn't it Walls? I don't know.
I don't know.
I got out of there, so I don't live there anymore, so I don't have an opinion. Here we go.
California Republican. You get in your beat-up Ford F-350 only to find out your catalytic converter has been stolen, and that shit won't pass smog without one. Thanks, Gavin Newsom. You head into Fresno on a mission to find a replacement. You tune your radio to 580 AM and spend the whole morning listening to Rush Limbaugh reruns. He was right about immigrants ruining the country. Instead, the Democrats gave them driver's licenses and let them wreak havoc on our roads. Breakfast is the usual. A chile relleno burrito and a large horchata from Robertito's. The wrecking yard your buddy Gurpreet recommended is fresh out of Cats, all heisted last night. Apparently, the meth is really good this year. Some dude everyone just calls Gooch set up a lab out in Modesto and cornered the market. You don't want to mess with Gooch. Determined to fix your Ford and maybe pick up a little bag of Gooch's good stuff? You hop on the 99. Heading north, you stop and laugh at the bridge to nowhere. All that wasted cash on high-speed rail when they could have just widened 99 to 8 lanes.
Yeah!
Modesto, California. Water, wealth, contentment, health. But you're not here for any of that liberal crap. You find Gooch slinging his wares outside the gas station on 5th Street. He gives you a first-time customer discount. It's really good stuff. So good, you forgot to ask him about your catalytic converter. Crime, traffic, inflation. The Valley was once a great place to live, but now it's overrun by addicts and Bay Area transplants forcing their woke values down our throats. Oh, hey, look, it's your old pals Kerman and Clovis. You congratulate them on 5 years of marriage and drive them down to Bakersfield to admire the only thing Nancy Pelosi can never take away from us. Day in the life of a...
That's really cute.
Okay. She's a great storyteller.
Yeah.
She's a great storyteller. All right. Where did we leave off here now that we went on that very, very long detour? Here we go. Brian Bledsoe says, Fantastic Four seats in Dallas theaters are mostly empty. Suspiciously, the ones that had seats filled have the same block of seats. Well, so like they bought the tickets in the same area of the theater, like on multiple screenings.
Oh.
I mean, that just means that people know what the good seats are and they pick them.
Right.
I buy the same seats every time.
Same. I like generally like
Where
the
do you
same
sit?
sort of middle area.
Oh, you sit in the middle.
Yeah, like upper middle.
I
middle.
sit in the back right.
What?
Well, I take notes on my phone.
What is that? The fingering seat?
Yes, I take notes on my phone, so I don't want to bother other people.
That's nice of you.
And also, because I'm deaf in one ear, I sit on the side
Which
where
one?
my right ear. So I sit on the side with my bad ear facing the speaker, so it's not just destroying.
So you're not
my
just
eardrum.
yelling, "What?
What?" No, so that I'm not having my eardrum destroyed by the good speaker on the other
right,
side.
because you have just the one good ear left.
Shane H. Wilder says there are like 5 white Irish NBA players currently. See? It can happen.
I guess it
We
can.
call them potato dunkers.
That is a slur.
Where is
that is absolutely a slur.
Where is
and I'm gonna
Seamus
use
to
it.
push back on it?
I'm gonna
Sounds like a
use.
delicious-
I have Irish American friends. They're getting called. What was it?
Potato dunkers.
Potato dunkers. Absolutely.
Nate says yes, fingering his iPhone. Yes, that's what I'm doing. I always turn the vibration off though. Don't worry. Brian Bledsoe says guest opinions on Sydney Sweeney's bathwater soap.
I mean, if the market demands it and people want to buy it and it makes them happy, or it's a funny stocking stuffer type thing, go for it.
Yeah.
It's better than like buying used panties, you know? Ugh.
All right. Gollum's half-botched circumcision leftover. No? Nothing? Hail, Chrissie. Hi, I'm new here. What are we doing?
Hey, getting to know you.
Shane H. Wilder says, The Chosen is officially licensed to Amazon now. The Passion of the Christ 2 involves Christ's descent to hell, resurrection, and I believe the ascension. So that could be a longer movie. Okay. Not That John Stewart says, has anyone on the panel seen the Netflix trailer for Frankenstein directed by Guillermo del Toro?
No.
I didn't
Is
care.
he Jewish? Is it Frankenstein? Is that the twist?
That's what it is. And he's going to be pushing back against anti-Semitism. Jennifer says, keep the redhead with the pretty feet.
Oh my God, that's
Ginger
me.
funny. Nate says, that is not what happened, and I'm pretty sure the husband applies loosely here.
Oh, that's regarding the gay death.
Yes. Shane H. Wilder says, I talked to someone that was at the Austin King of the Hill panel that weekend and said that Jonathan was acting completely unhinged. I mean, I watched the video of it, and he was acting unhinged.
Mm-hmm.
So, Arsenal Man says, the husband is a mentally ill woman. Not surprised they're trying to make it out to be something it's not.
Oh, they're a trans?
Yeah,
Yes,
he's a trans man.
Oh, boy.
Guitarist Gabe says, did I read that one? No, the husband, Tristan, is a woman, kind of throws the homophobic hate crime angle out the window. Plus, I believe he was armed. Look, I've seen...
Yeah, I guess that is, in a way, that is gender-affirming hate crime.
Right?
There. That is a gender-affirming hate crime.
Isn't that what everyone wants?
Radical... What is it? Radically inclusive trans misogyny or something.
You hate trans women because they're trans. I hate trans women because they're women.
Because they're men.
No, that was the guy. It's trans exclusionary radical misogyny.
Trans exclusionary radical misogyny. Yeah, misogyny.
Terms.
Yeah.
Trans inclusive
Not a turf,
missionary.
but a term.
Pat the Plumber says, finally, my hero Brett Dasovic on Simcast. Oh, what a glorious day.
That's my show on Sunday.
At what time?
9 o'clock.
There you go.
Do it whenever you like.
Eastern?
Or you. Yes.
Eastern. You gotta say that now because like I watched something the other day. It was like it showed a commercial from the 90s and said 8/7 Central. Like we had any clue what that meant.
We
when
never
we were
knew
younger.
what it meant.
I didn't know what that meant.
I still don't.
I thought it was kind of funny that it was always 8/7 Central and they left out Mountain Time and Pacific.
All
Nobody
the other
cares about
times.
y'all.
Yeah.
Like,
You guys are on your own. Like
Yeah.
the Mountain Time people, just figure it out for yourselves.
You're in the mountains. You're used to it.
Isabella Live 2.0 says, Chrissy, we love you.
Isabella.
Regular?
Oh, yeah.
We saw Isabella in the chat yesterday here, so
Oh, wow.
excellent. Cool. Pat the Plumber says, Jen Bust. Call them Busters.
Generation Bust
Generation-
is awful.
You're busting on them. Gordon Shumway says millennials were originally called Gen Y, so maybe Gen Beta has a chance for a change for their name.
Gen Y sounds stupid.
Yeah, Gen Bust.
Gen Y, I just imagine like someone tucking their junk between their legs. What's that called?
Does
A
it have name?
mangina?
Oh, okay then.
But the guys on the swim team used to do it all the time in college. They'd be like, "You want to see something? It's a mangina," and they just pull their shorts down, and there'd be nothing there.
You
They
seen
would
me.
tuck it all back, and then
You
they would
seen my downstairs mix
walk
up.
their legs forward.
Abstract Cats Official TSG says he's a lumberjack and he's okay. Omega Red Fan says, did they make the meme using the Sims game on PlayStation? Well, what meme?
Meme?
What meme?
Meme? What do you mean?
What meme? Culture Casino, what's up, buddy?
Culture.
Says, actually, the blocks of seats are reserved by the theater for when they have issues. Ask theater manager if you doubt. It's to move people if need be. Okay. All right. Well, that's cool. Shane H. Wilder says, Mary has been out doing door-to-door mission work, preaching the good word of the gongo. Yes, there's a hint as to what I'm dropping tomorrow. Yeah, so I saw that Elon Musk tweeted about the Congo. He tweeted about getting Starlink in the Congo. And I was very happy to see quite a few people retweet and ask him, what about the gongo?
Is that an inside joke from the show?
So yes, as you know, I have trouble speaking, so it's weird that they gave me a podcast.
You seem fine.
But at some point, I was making some dismissively rude comment about the Congo. It was relation to the fact that anytime you cover anything, they're like, "How can you you be laughing when there's a genocide in the Congo? I can't even say it. But I think I said femicide and said femigenocide in the Congo.
But people know what you mean.
Yeah, but now it became an inside joke to the point where they then they then super chat it to Tim, and he's like, "What the hell are they talking about?" And you can buy your Gongo merch on the store, where because we need to fund it now that USAID has been.
Have you ever seen that movie? It's called Gongo with the Wind.
I've never seen Gongo.
Can
with the
I
Wind.
make pro femigenocide in the Gongo merch and sell it?
I mean, they might not allow it on Teespring.
Like not remove a clit, just
I'll ask Bunker.
add another
I'll have
one
Bunker
on
do
top.
it. I will just go to Bunker and be like, "Hey guys, I need pro femigenocide content," and they'll be like, "Sure." Probably not, actually.
Oh, they're talking about the Cities by Diana girl.
Oh.
And about the meme thing earlier. Brian Bledsoe says Mary wouldn't read most of this episode. I think she would have. I mean,
she would enjoy this.
I think
Mary would be upset.
What? I don't know.
At what?
What? Okay, Brian, what wouldn't she have read? What wouldn't she have read? Like, are you talking about the super chats that other people said? Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know what Mary... I mean, Mary would leave stuff off. It was, like, going to get the show pulled down. But that just means being discerning.
Have you seen the movie Gone Go Girl?
I never saw Gone Go Girl. I saw Gone Girl, but I didn't see Gone Go Girl, the sequel. Yep. Casa Gongo. Gongo in 60 Seconds. I do like that one, preferably, because Gone in 60 Seconds is an underrated masterpiece. Dingus...
Top Gongo?
Top Gongo is great, yeah.
They're making a Top Gun 3, and there's no need to do that.
You know what?
Wow.
I don't care. I don't care. Give me Fast Jet.
Yeah, but I'll go see it.
Dude, I have not felt more patriotic than I did after seeing Top Gun Maverick in a long time.
Oh, that was a great
like
movie.
you went out to sign up for the military and somebody had to
literally,
stop
I
you.
was like, you know what? I probably can get into the Air Force.
He's like, I could volunteer.
I want to go
on
into the Air
weekends.
Force and I want to do propaganda. Let me do Air Force propaganda.
I mean, if they're gonna, because the original Top Gun was a movie that was used to bolster military recruitment.
I think the new one was too.
It was. No, it was. The thing is if you're gonna do that now, you're gonna have to let like Kai Cenat fly a plane to bolster
just do the
military
exact
recruitment.
same thing again. Just give me the exact same cast, and this time they're going somewhere else.
Yeah, I think most of it is like the reason they shouldn't do Top Gun 3 is that even though there is a lot of patriotism in the movie, there's also like an emotional through line that connects you to the other characters, and it's very hard to go back to the well on something like that. And have
what was Harrison Ford's character name in Star Wars?
Han
Solo?
Han Gongo?
Han Gongo.
No, Gongo would just be a name in Star Wars.
Oh, it'd be a character,
Like, that would just be a guy.
Yeah, true.
Bruce Leroy Jenkins says Top Gun was Navy.
I know that, but I didn't want to join the Navy because that's gay.
You don't want to be made fun
your butthole wasn't ready.
Yeah, like, I don't want to be on a ship with men.
Smokey Doke says all or at least most war movies are propaganda. That's true. I mean, almost everything that involves reasonably like in-depth storytelling by the CIA is like approved by the CIA because they get the scripts beforehand. We were going to at one point do like a deep dive into all the TV shows that got like access to the CIA. I did see these clickbait articles going around yesterday about how Michael Myers is like a real life CIA agent because he got like a tour of the CIA.
Oh, okay.
And I was sad. I was like, in my mind, he actually is Austin Powers.
Bring on the fembots.
Yo, Transformers, Dark Side of the Gongo.
I mean, Revenge of the Gongo.
Revenge of the Gongo.
Revenge of the Gongo.
Yeah.
See, all war movies should be made by Michael
Star
Bay.
Wars, The Phantom Gongo.
Right.
Cody Nash in the chat says, what kind of man signs a contract that lets a woman run you?
I don't know what that means. He also said you come home and get laid nonstop before that, which...
Those are conflicting
That sounds like it
statements.
explains why a man would sign that contract.
Right. It sounds like a good deal.
Shane H. Weiler says, Aiden didn't want to be in the Navy surrounded by seamen.
Yeah, no, what can I say? We did have a friend in high school and middle school whose name was Connor, and we were hanging out. We were like working a stand at a fair thing, and some of the older guys started calling him Seaman, and it very quickly transitioned into Seamen. And just seaman, and he thought it was a term of endearment, and we had to break it to him that we were like, dude, I think they're making fun of you. Like, they're calling you Seaman. And he was like, no, it's Seaman. And I was, no, come on.
Aw.
It's okay. He invited a pedophile to his wedding, but didn't invite us, so I'm kind of chill with it now.
Oh, boy.
You are just sharing today. You are Mr. Sharing today.
I'm not giving out any last names.
I love it. All right, here I want to watch one more here. Day in the life of a
life.
California liberal this time.
Life of a California liberal. You start your day with an iced matcha latte from your favorite local Starbucks and post the POV to all of your socials. Girl the boycott, one of your 157,000 followers says smugly in the comments section, thinking they've finally got you. While driving to work, you text them a gentle reminder that there is no ethical consumption under capitalism, and it's okay anyways because you painted your Land Rover brat green in solidarity with Kamala after her devastating loss as a sign that you understood the assignment. You tell everyone you live in LA, but you're actually from Oxnard. Every morning you take the 101 to the 405 to the 10 to the 15 to the 8 to the 5 to the 126 to PCH to get to your marketing job in Santa Monica. You navigate LA's complex web of interchanges like a master conductor directing a symphony orchestra while admiring the Golden State's scenic beauty. You feel grateful to live in a place that actually respects the environment, unlike those gasoline-addicted Texans. And best of all, you never need a GPS. You've played enough Grand Theft Auto 5 to know exactly how to get around this place. After praying to the parking gods on your 4-hour mega commute, you found the perfect spot. Well, almost perfect. It's got a meter, but you're glad to pay a little extra for the privilege of being able to say California forever and goodbye.
Wow.
Dude, LA sounds like a nightmare.
I forgot about the green thing.
I mean, I wouldn't want to live in California. The funny thing is like when you grow up skating, all you want to do is move to California. I don't think I could do it now.
No.
California seems like it would be a really fun place to be 22.
It is, just like New York City.
No, see, New York seems miserable all the time to me.
It's fun when you're in your 20s.
It's so expensive.
Yeah. But it's like you tell yourself it's worth it.
There's like a waffle stand in the park, and you're like, that's so cool. And you go to get a waffle, and it's like $18.
Yep, and then that's your whole dinner.
And you go to a diner and you get a burger. It's like $12 for just a basic cheeseburger, and you're like, this better be the best cheeseburger I've ever had. And then it's disgusting.
Havoc Axe says you don't need an emotional through line. Fast and the Furious movies prove that. That is true.
The Fast and the Furious movies have family.
It's and I am the world's most ardent defender of the Fast and the Furious movies, but this is like just the other day when I mentioned yesterday, I posted The Expendables on X and I said I'm gonna rewatch this classic, and somebody's like, "How old are you?" I'm like, do I actually think that The Expendables is a classic movie? No, but I'm not an art nerd, nor am I a dork, so I can consider whatever I want to be a classic. And the Fast and the Furious movies are classics in their own right, but for different reasons. I can love those movies for what they are without needing them to be like Top Gun. I don't want Top Gun to become Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, everyone's gonna have their own classic.
Yeah. I want it to stay the same.
Even Topper Gun.
Somebody says, "Did you see Brett's face? What was I reacting to? What was I being so funny about?"
I see his face right now.
Yeah, and I love the Fast and Furious movies, so you should leave those alone. Austin Brown says, "Hi, Chrissy. How you been?"
Hi, Austin.
Says, "How's the bean?"
Oh, the bean is so good. He's almost walking. He's like kind of cruising along and then like typing on like every keyboard he sees, trying to send emails.
Is it anything ever actually send?
No, not
like that's
yet.
A nightmare.
And it's like accidentally send your social security number.
There's like a fantastic skit to be made about the slur that gets sent by accident.
Yeah, he keeps like, sending emails with the N-word.
What has changed the most since becoming a mom?
My time, the amount of time that I have for myself. Like I was used to, all right, I'll definitely work out 5 times a week or whatever, and I have time to blow my hair out, and I have time to shower every day, and I have time to like do laundry whenever I want, and I have time to like be intimate with my husband. And then when you have a baby, like just you could maybe pick one of those things in 2 weeks. You have time to do one of those things. Yeah,
but rewarding,
so worth it. It's so the best thing I've ever done. Yeah.
It's conservative propaganda.
Everyone should do it. It's like so worth it.
Horror with Nads says Chrissy is truly the best.
Thank you, Horror with Nads.
Is that one of yours as well? Regular?
No, but I hope he becomes one of mine.
You should subscribe to her channel if you have not.
Yeah. Bring your Nads.
Smokey Doke says N-word is bad. Nuclear. You shouldn't say the word nuclear. Also, that's another one I had to relearn how to say nuclear and actually say it properly because I'd say nuclear.
Yeah, that's wrong. That's how Bush said it.
Yeah, at that point, I'm like, I'm in my 30s. I don't care.
Legoat said, being intimate takes 5 minutes. I have bad news for you.
But it shouldn't.
I have very bad news for you.
Depends on how forgiving she is.
Yeah. You can do a 5-minute or once in a while.
If you're really good at guitar, maybe.
Practice your semen retention, man.
If you know how to play flamenco.
Practice your semen retention, man.
What is that?
Clitorum says,
what a name.
Tokyo Drift made car nerds lose it by making a Drift Evo and a Drift Mustang by putting an R36 engine in a Mustang body. I also, look, I know people love Tokyo Drift, but to me, the original will always be the best of the franchise. And then, of course, when it gets more ridiculous as the franchise goes on, but that's kind of another example where I actually didn't like the 9th one when they went to space, which is when it becomes kind of a mocking of itself as a franchise. I didn't like that one as much as I liked the other ones, which just kind of sat at the edge of being self-referential and ridiculous. And the reason why the Fast and the Furious franchise works, despite how ridiculous it is the fact that no matter how stupid everything is, Vin Diesel plays it completely straight. He does not joke. He's not quippy. Mm-hmm. Everything he does is 100% serious, so that allows you to buy in to how ridiculous everything is. Mm-hmm. If his character,
he's a straight man.
If he was cracking jokes the whole time, it would lose its luster and very, very fast. At least that's my opinion. Somebody says it legally takes 5 minutes to be intimate.
Oh, come on now.
So it's against the law for anything less or more than that?
We shouldn't be aiming for a 5 minutes situation.
PJ Edwards says the 5th was clearly the best. Maybe.
The 5th?
Fast and the Furious movie.
Fast and the Furious, Back to the Gun, go?
Yes. I would love that. The only Joker is Tyrese Gibson compressing all of the MCU humor into one guy. I mean, that's true, but you do get humor from the other characters, but Vin Diesel plays it completely straight. And it's how Tyrese interacts with the other characters. I was actually having this how do you guys feel about when characters change? If it's a show you've watched for a long period of time. So I was talking about this last night. I was rewatching Person of Interest season 4. I normally watch seasons 1 through 3, a couple of episodes of 4, and then I go and watch the season 5, which is shorter because it's the last season of the show. And what I noticed was that the Shaw character is completely different in season 4, and she cracks jokes, whereas in the previous season she has what's called an access to personality disorder, which means she's very, very stoic and bland and doesn't really get human emotion. And the humor around her character is how she's like a ruthless killer who has absolutely no emotion, but funny stuff will sometimes happen to her.
Okay.
So the humor is how she interacts with the world. Mm-hmm. Whereas in season 4, she's cracking wise. And I realized that you're allowed to be a hypocrite because sometimes characters change and I hate it. Other times, characters change, and I love it. I actually like her character more once she changes and actually cracks more jokes, even though it is, for the most part, not in line with her character.
Because think about Breaking Bad. What's his name? Walter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the main character. He goes from his transformation when he starts making meth, and he gets his balls, and he becomes a boss. That's a cool transformation.
Some might see that as his evolution into the character, though. But this is usually more of an issue with shows that are on for a lot of years on network TV, where by season 4 or 5 the character is vastly different than they were when the show started.
Yeah. You know who never did that?
Who?
Supernatural.
They're the same the whole way through.
Oh yeah,
I tapped out at season 5.
By the end of it, they're shooting God.
I tapped out at season 5.
They spoiler alert. They literally shoot God with a gun.
Oh no.
Yeah.
The Orca Boss says, hey, Brett, what movie are you excited for in July? I'm the hipster. I'm excited for Jurassic World.
Ooh, that'll do great.
And Superman, but Jurassic World. Dinosaurs. And all those movies make $1 billion, every time. It doesn't matter.
It's because dinosaurs.
I know.
It's
what's the meme?
Did you see Jurassic World when it came out in 2015?
I didn't see it till later.
I went to see it, and it was just dinosaur violence.
Yeah.
Except this movie
goes hard.
I think this version is going to have a Gongosaurus in it.
Yo, the
I hope so.
Gongosaurus. I would take it.
Scarlett Johansson will travel to the Gongo.
I could
to
take.
fight the Gongo.
I could take a Gongosaurus.
I want to like that one. To me, is going to be a lot of fun. Plus, Scarlett Johansson is a very charismatic actor, and I'll have a lot of fun with that. Plus, if you're gonna girl boss, it should be against a dinosaur, because it's like, okay, girl boss beats up 230-pound man, completely unbelievable.
Right.
But girl boss beats up dinosaur.
I'll
I mean,
take
that's unbelievable, even if a guy does it. So you
Yeah.
That's a good
bypass.
What are your pronouns?
You bypass the whole issue of like whether, and I'll be honest, like that's another one I'm a hypocrite about. If I like the character, I'm completely okay with them beating up a 250-pound guy and it not making any sense. It's pure hypocrisy on my part,
It's
but
ridiculous.
I don't care. For instance, they actually went on to address that in the trailer for Ballerina, the new John Wick movie that's coming out with Ana de Armas, and they make a point of saying like you're never going to be able to beat up these guys, but you can basically shoot them.
You can have false rape accusations.
That's how she wins the movie. She just puts a false rape accusation against the head of a cartel.
There you go.
Somebody did in the chat say Supernatural was great at the end, then they turned one of the main characters gay right before the end. I refuse to accept that Castiel was gay. I think I look at what at the end of the show he tells Dean that he like loves him. I see that as a very Frodo and Sam moment.
Yeah.
I refuse to, I think they did that on purpose. I think they left it ambiguous so that people who actually cared about the show and the characters would be like, okay, this is a moment of like, you know, brotherly like love.
Yeah.
And then left it ambiguous so that the Tumblr crowd could be like, ha, see, I told you he's gay.
It's not always about anal pleasures, people.
Yeah, men are allowed to have tender moments with each other. Men are allowed to have tender moments.
You should put that on. Well, I mean, that is actually something that's disappeared, is like the idea of male friendship has been completely abandoned by Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because shippers then come online and make it about guys being gay.
You know who
Tumblr
ruins
was
that?
a disaster for entertainment.
The gay movie.
Tumblr
People in the Woods. What's it called?
Brokeback Mountain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They ruined it.
Tumblr ruined entertainment. I will stand by that statement. Tumblr ruined entertainment.
How so?
Because a whole bunch of studios saw like all of the like fan discussions on Tumblr and were like, oh, this is what the fans want. Because this was before you had like before Twitter was as big as it is, and like so they looked at Tumblr and they were like, oh, the super fans want it this way. This must be the direction we should take the show.
Wow.
And that crushed a whole bunch of different shows.
And now they don't listen to fans at all.
Yeah. And I will say one show that has not changed one of the characters at all throughout all like 7 seasons is the show Outlander.
Okay. I've never
Claire is just as insufferable at the end of season 7 as she was.
Well, of course.
Yeah. Every problem in the show is caused by Claire.
A good character can be made insufferable, but very rarely can a character start out as insufferable and then a good writer, because the good writers start on the show and the crappy writers start later on.
Yeah.
So a good character doesn't just become insufferable.
They've got books to go off of.
Yes, an insufferable character doesn't just suddenly become not insufferable because the writing doesn't get better; it gets worse.
Oh, it's great. You can watch the show and you're like, man, every single problem in this show, including the English Civil War, apparently, is Claire's fault.
PJ Edwards asks, who would be your current Tomb Raider fan casting?
Melanie Mack.
I'm going to say Haley Atwell. Somebody suggested that last time, and I'm going to say Haley Atwell.
Amelia Clarke.
Okay.
Okay.
She's British. She's got the right combination of hair and eye color.
I mean, everybody knows Angelina Jolie was the best Tomb Raider, and she's not British.
The best.
She did have to do that kind of mediocre British accent, though.
Yeah.
Daniel Craig did that crappy American accent. Austin Brown says Daniel Jackson's character arc in Stargate SG-1. And let's do a couple more here.
Womb Raider?
It's a different one entirely. I missed one from Shane H. Wilder, said the last season of Supernatural was ass.
It was.
Yeah.
Dude, seasons like 9 through 15 were ass. You're just sitting there praying that it ends.
I made it to season 5 and was then rewarded because everybody said, like, I saw multiple videos online that said never watch past season 5. Like, this is as good as it got.
If you accept that everything after season 5 is basically fan fiction, it's okay.
It's so funny because they had Mark Pellegrino on Culture War, and that's like his most famous role. And I'm like, bro, I hadn't even watched it yet. I was like, I watched this later. I was like, I told him a bunch of random things that I'd seen him in because I have the weird shows that I love that he would make great guest appearances in, but hadn't seen him in like the one thing that he's like the most known for. Gordon Shumway says, aren't all dinosaurs in Jurassic World females? So technically, is a guy not supposed to beat them up?
No, because
I don't think it's anti-feminist to beat up the dinosaur.
This is another thing we could make into a bumper sticker.
Unless the dinosaur is smaller than you.
100 men or one dinosaur? Horror with Nads says, I'm excited for Dangerous Animals 28 years later and Megan 2.0, and especially The Ritual this month.
The Ritual?
She says, FYI, I'm a she. Well, hello.
Wait, The Ritual?
What's The Ritual?
I feel like we talked about that at one point.
I guess it's a movie.
Yeah.
Well, because there's a 2017 movie called The Ritual, which is really good.
It's probably a remake.
It is not. This one appears to be like more of an exorcism movie.
Okay.
The true story that inspired The Exorcist.
Oh.
Ooh.
The Exorcist is a bad movie. The original one, I will stand by that.
Okay.
Hated it.
I don't know what Dangerous Animals is. I know 28 years later is very highly sought after, and Megan 2 is going to be like the one movie Mary's going to actually want to see.
Is that because she kind of looks like the main character?
She liked the first Megan. She's
probably because she identified with her.
Oh, so what you're saying is that representation does matter, and you have to actually identify as the character?
Dude, that's
checkmate, incels.
That is why my favorite movie is Bad Boys too.
Yeah,
because I identify as Will Smith.
Bad Boys for life.
It's me. My favorite movie is Dangerous Minds, but I identify with the kids in the class, not Michelle Pfeiffer.
My mom went to school with Will Smith. She went to high school with him.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What was he like?
She went to a Catholic school. It was the boys and the girls didn't apparently spend a ton of time. I don't know the deal. All I know is that
he
she went
a
to high
cuck
school with
even
him.
then?
We want an interesting
story.
So.
You know, in West Philadelphia, born and raised.
All right, guys, before we go, I want to thank all of you for joining us today. And Chrissy, I want to thank you.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me, Brad. This was so fun and so nice to meet you, Aiden.
Nice to meet you too.
Let everybody know where they can find you on the internet.
Oh, yes. I have a bunch of stand-up shows coming up through the summer and the fall. I'll be in Long Island, Ohio, Phoenix, San Diego, maybe a couple other places. So go to ChrissieMayr.com for tickets. Follow me on Twitter at Chrissie Mayr. That's ChrissieMayr, and on Instagram, Chrissie Mayr Pod, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for I do interviews, and I have a show called Simpcast every Sunday. It's like a panel show of ladies, and Friday Night Tights every Friday, 4 o'clock on Nerdrotic's YouTube channel.
There's not a lot of channels in this space that do interviews anymore, so it's cool to see that.
I enjoy a one-on-one discussion.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Aiden, where can they find you?
You can find me here on YouTube at The Lore Lodge. I've also got History Unhinged and The Weird Bible and my own channel, but that's mostly video game streaming. It's Aiden Mattis. We're also on Rumble for The Lore Lodge, and I'm on Twitter at Lore Lodge and on Instagram at The Aiden Mattis.
Thank you again for helping out.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Guys, again, if you want to subscribe to the channel, you should do that right now. And remember, Mary will be back tomorrow, so we will have to give her a warm welcome. I am sure that everybody will be not weird in the chat at all once she gets back.
Yeah.
Hit the like button on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Share the show out with everybody in your family, your friends, your loved ones, even the people that you hate. The more people that you share it with, the faster this channel can grow. If you want to follow me, I am on Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. 5 days a week this show is, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. See, we do the Pacific, not 8-7 Central. If you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at PopCulture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. There's one more here before we go from Gordon Shumway. Says, how would you remake The Exorcist so that you would give it 2 snaps And do you see that one there?
Hated it.
Hated it. Oh, actually, I should check Rumble too. I didn't even, I got so distracted today with everything that I had to make sure that there were chats on Rumble to see if anything came through
Any
here.
Rumble rants?
That's it.
Oh,
Like
I see a
Tim,
rant.
Tim is very good at like distinguishing between super chat and Rumble rant.
He's a good multitasker.
I just say them the same.
Yeah.
It's just a super chat. Cookie Don 15 says, "Does Chrissy like her suitcase?"
Actually, no. I would like a new one. But I'm the kind of person, like, I'll use something like a suitcase or shoes until they're literally like falling apart.
Shoes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll wear them into the ground.
We got a 20 here from Swarley. Says, "Missed the start, but hearing Chrissy is an absolute delight."
Thank you,
Swarley.
Swarley. Ooh, I'm going to go give my husband a Swarley when I get home.
Oh.
I'm picturing you turning him upside down and putting him into the toilet.
Just dunking
See,
his
that's
head
interesting
in
because
the toilet.
Swarley is a joke from How I Met Your Mother about Neil Patrick Harris's character. So are you
Oh.
gonna? This is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He's a homosexual.
Right.
Yeah.
Deep South EDC says this week's episodes have been. Did he say it or lit? He said lit.
Ooh,
Happy Hump
lit.
Day. And then what is it? Hawk on a Wire 91 says hi, Chrissy. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I double checked. I feel very like I neglected them there today. So, the thing is, I'm an absolutely awful multitasker. Why they gave me this job, nobody will ever know.
This is why I like Streamlabs. If you're multi-streaming on Streamlabs, it all just comes through in the same chat.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad, little rumblies.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. You'll have to be there to welcome Mary back to the show. We'll see y'all then. Bye everybody.
Bye.